I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim, and we are doing a live broadcast tonight from an undisclosed city in America, and we are giving you a daily show. Despite the fact that we're on vacation, we realize the importance of a show because we realize that we are being censored. And in a country that claims to be free and democratic, we have censorship through every means possible that these rich people are trying to stop me. So we have to keep a show going every night, despite the fact that we are on vacation. And it's my dedication, 10 years and 6 months to this entire endeavor. Actually, 10 years and 9 months or 10 months. We're approaching the 11-year mark on our show. Yeah, it's amazing. And this effort is also due to you. Your viewership is essential to our show, and giving you daily shows keeps us abreast of the news and makes me focus on the bad parts of our government that we have to talk about. We can't just ignore it. Okay, let's take a look. We've got Sammy Davis has something here. Shocking image. Okay. Crisis at the U.S. border. That looks pretty real to me. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I don't want to bring it into the show because of the simple fact that if I put it on the screen, believe it or not, hey, Steve-O, welcome. If I put it on the screen, YouTube will block me, because they'll say it's some sort of a violent picture and they'll use it to completely eliminate the video. So we're not going to show that picture, but it showed a father and daughter laying in a pool of water outside of a serious border crisis situation. Yeah. Okay, whatever you're sending in the show, please don't send that. Yeah, Sir Farage, you're new here, and we're not allowing any photos posted, anything like that. We have to clear all. There's a video out right now that I'm going to be writing YouTube about to have it removed. It is a video about some sort of a fake video that was made with a bunch of people attacking our show. And we're going to be writing YouTube about it. We're being gang stalked. And I believe that your Sir Farage is the same person that came in last night with the same video. So we're going to make sure that you're going to be banned if you post it again. You can come and talk, but don't post that video. All right? Thank you. Very derogatory video about our effort. And there's no reason why people would be derogatory other than that they're getting paid to attack us. That's right. People are getting paid, gang stalkers. Now, the economy is so upsy-downsy and topsy-turvy that Bitcoin is skyrocketing yet again to $13,223. And it's indicative of the very unstable nature of Donald Trump and how he's making investors roll in their sleep. The Dow Jones is down 11 points, but Bitcoin is up, which shows that people are finding a safe haven for their investments. Dow Jones at 26,536. It was pretty much a down day at Wall Street. All right. There's been some changes. Our video at 153news.net/third party is now at 153news.org/third party. Okay, we're having some problems on the iVlog show, so we're going to drop out of Periscope, but I want to thank you guys for at least watching the initial stages of our show. Thank you. We can only send 2 signals from a location like this, and I think that'll be adequate. All right, thank you. At least we got a tweet out there. Ann was right, but I'm not trying to tell you guys to buy $4,000 Bitcoins at 6 months ago. I don't really think investing in anything is a good idea at this time. Everything's upside down. And gold is still a solid investment if you put your money in a solid piece of precious metal like gold or silver. That's the way to go. Silver is actually a better investment because it's, well, for a variety of reasons. It's cheaper to buy in, easier to convey to others as a trading tool. $1 silver dollar is a lot easier to move than a little teeny pieces of gold if you're ever trading. And gold is a lot harder to mine than silver, yet gold is astronomically higher than silver. In fact, gold is 10 times harder to mine than silver, but 40 times the cost, roughly. But that changes. So there's a good reason to buy silver, even if you haven't invested at all. Now, I want to give you a little side note here that's relevant, is that gold, an ounce of gold worth $1,400 today was worth the equivalent of $1,400 in Roman times in terms of what you could buy. Right now, $1,400 will get you a really nice hotel room, a suit, a beautiful day spa experience. And back then, in Roman times, you could get a day spa or a Roman bath, a suit, and a place to stay in a luxurious location. So it's ironic that gold has retained its value since Roman times. Isn't that interesting? When you frame it that way, you see the longevity of gold in terms of the investor markets. Now, Bitcoins you can't put your bite on, you can't sink into your teeth. But I can tell you that you don't have to do it. Just leave it on the side, I'll do it. It's frustrating.
I think it's nearly impossible.
It's nearly impossible. I think what I'm going to do is develop a Velcro patch. They sell Velcro that has adhesive on the side.
I'm not trying to see.
Well, Velcro works, so don't worry about it. Platinum is good, but again, very expensive. Yeah. Oh yeah, Sunstar, good point. Metal detecting is very, very cool. I know people who've gone on the beach and collected gold cougarons, believe it or not. And they sell these really high-end gold mining tools now that normally metal detectors don't check for gold, but the newest ones do. So it kind of gives you an edge if you're out there on the beach looking for gold cougarons. All right. Elizabeth Warren just called out Trump and Dave Sponheim during the Democratic debate as frontrunners. You know, I find that hard to believe. There's a standing order to not talk about me among all of the elites, so I seriously don't believe you.
I put the thing inside on the bottom.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening show. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the news. Donald Trump still fomenting a war with Iran to try to divert our attention from the more and more that we look into the Russian connection, the more and more it's real. There is obstruction as well. Even Donald Trump tried to stop anyone from investigating him a few months, or actually about a month ago. He told Nancy Pelosi that he wouldn't talk about the budget if she continues to investigate him, which means he's probably guilty, and he's still trying to obstruct. Now, the headline says that China should investigate their own backyard over forged Canadian meat certificates. You know, the Chinese have every reason to be angry at Canada for working with the U.S. to try to extradite Meng into their country. It's ridiculous to think that China should even be charged with any crime selling telecommunications to Iran. This entire thing that Trump has concocted in his own airhead brain is all because he didn't listen to my advice. I made it very clear that we shouldn't sign the treaty with Iran because it was forged out of ego trips by Barack Obama and John Kerry. And he followed my advice there, but then I followed with the simple fact that we should not impose extreme economic sanctions. And you guys can remember me saying that too. I knew that economic sanctions on Iran would leave them feeling like they did nothing over the past few years. They had accomplished nothing. Now, one thing you have to understand about negotiating with Iranians, you need to give them a win. You have to. They have to have a win in some way. And it's been proven that economic sanctions do not stop countries like Iran or North Korea. They'll find other ways to make money. In fact, obviously, we're not having a problem with Wi-Fi. It's going very well. We're running through a VPN for security. If you're seeing any lag, it's because of the VPN. We can't broadcast from a straight IP address. If we did, it would automatically reveal our location. We can't do that. We have to maintain security. Now, Trump, without evidence, has accused Mueller of illegally deleting FBI text messages. Not only did Mueller do a piss-poor job of investigating Donald Trump, he didn't even get the 10 years of tax returns, subpoena the 10 years of tax returns, which shows the incompetence of Robert Mueller. In 2 years' time, he didn't even get the tax returns. Second of all, he didn't follow up on the Paul Manafort second trial, which would have revealed money laundering by the Russians directly into Trump's hands. And thirdly, he failed to mention the dossier except for a paragraph, and it's more and more likely that the dossier is very, very real. Now remember, Robert Mueller investigated the entire case of the dossier. There should be more on it. He interviewed Donald Trump's bodyguard, who said that Donald Trump had met 5 prostitutes in Moscow that night with the bodyguard. They had propositioned Donald Trump, and Donald Trump said no. That's according to the bodyguard's testimony. Then the bodyguard said that he saw Donald Trump go into the motel or hotel room and lock the door. Well, Donald Trump has said that he never spent any time in that hotel room, so that conflicts with the testimony of his bodyguard directly, which means that Donald Trump is lying about what he did that night. It's more than likely he said no with the bodyguard there and then said yes later. And whatever he did with those people, those women, those prostitutes in Moscow was filmed. That means that Moscow most likely has dirt on Donald Trump that they're using to manipulate him right now. Now, what is Donald Trump doing to help Russia? Everything. He has not imposed economic sanctions on Russia for over a year and a half, and only until I was harping on it did he start imposing a little bit. And then Deripaska sued him, saying you can't impose economic sanctions on him, which is absurd because Deripaska has evidence that should be brought to light from a prostitute that he went to, a mistress named Nastia, who said that there was solid evidence of Russia rigging our election, and she had it. Deripaska seized it. Donald Trump applies a few economic sanctions against him. Deripaska then sues Donald Trump to act like he's the poor Russian oligarch who's being targeted. But by and large, Russia skated on economic sanctions for a year and a half. Also, Donald Trump attacked our most trusted NATO allies for over 2 years. And to this point, they themselves want to create their own NATO force over in Europe because Donald Trump has ignored them and treated them like garbage. Terrible, like garbage. So Donald Trump is helping Russia there too by going against NATO. Thirdly, he's working directly with Saudi Arabia, giving them nukes, which is completely against Congress's wishes, and which is extremely disturbing considering nukes in that region will destabilize the balance of power and most likely spike the price of oil. Which brings me to the fourth point. The Iranian crisis, which Donald Trump is creating, according to our military advisors, Iran didn't do anything to us, mind you. Trump is just creating this entire thing. Even the Japanese owner of 2 tankers said that they weren't attacked with bombs, they were shot with bullets. So everything Donald Trump and Pompeo has said is a lie, trying to foment a war with Iran. That creates higher prices in oil, which directly affects Russia. They want higher prices in oil. So I just laid out 4 key areas where Donald Trump is helping Russia indirectly or directly, almost continuously, as opposed to looking out for our best interest, which is low-cost gas at our pumps. So we're going to be seeing a spike in gas, I believe, in the next year due to this ridiculous fomented crisis that he's created. Serious. Let's take a look at the article that Scissorfight just brought to us. Here we go. Trump is again attacking the accusers. Mueller, I say, has not done his job, and he's going to be testifying in front of the House, by the way, which, considering he said he would never testify, is kind of ironic. He accuses Mueller of illegally deleting FBI text messages, but there's no evidence of it. Right. Unbelievable. Okay. Huh. Trump claims special counsel Robert Mueller illegally terminated texts between former FBI employees Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Strzok and Page had swapped disparaging remarks about the president. You know, that was a private conversation Strzok was having at the time. But I will give you this. Strzok looks guilty as hell. I will agree with the Republicans on that. And I think Strzok completely eliminated over 29 or 27,000 emails by Hillary that may have had something to do with Benghazi. I agree with you Republicans. I think Strzok is guilty of something related to going against Trump. I do agree with that. But Trump's accusation against Mueller follows news that the former special counsel will testify before the 2 House committees about his investigation into Russian interference. Now that means that Donald Trump is trying to get ahead of that story by making up a story about Strzok. Again, fomenting lies, running interference, that's what he does. So Strzok turned his cell phone into Mueller and it was wiped clean. Well, you know, I'll give you guys this. The Republicans may have something here because it does look, I mean, I even think Trump might be right that Mueller did scrub those contacts. I really do. And I'm not here to discredit anyone, even the Republicans who are obviously in total support of Trump for some weird reason. I want you to know I think you're onto something. But bear in mind, because Donald Trump has not pursued a case against Hillary Clinton in the past 2 years, it implies to me that Donald Trump is part of the 2-party cabal, the group that's strictly working together and not going to stop the deep state. So you people who are QAnoners may be completely off track and maybe possibly even being led by the CIA like a farm animal to the slaughterhouse. I'm in the city of no name. Yes, I don't tell people where I go because I have to live absolutely anonymously because I've had over 1,000 death threats. And if I were to give you my location, you'd be targeting me. I can't do that. So I'm running the whole show through a VPN if you're having any signal interference, so you know. Okay, so Beth Chapman has died at the age of 51 of throat cancer. Beth Chapman is dead. The lady that we grew to love from the Bounty Hunter show has now passed away. Yeah, tragic and also unavoidable. You know, when people have serious cigarette addictions, they're risking their life. The potential for somebody to get really sick from smoking all the time is very real. Now, you know that she's had a lot of stress the past few years, so whatever she was doing might have been augmented by a good cigarette habit. So here she is. He's broken up.
I don't mean to threaten.
Okay, kind of pausing here. Dog the Bounty Hunter.
That you're gonna die. That you're gonna die. Hearing someone telling you that you're gonna die. You know, and you're just like, what?
The Tough as Nails TV personality fought back tears just thinking about losing his wife.
I told the doctor, she dies, you die. I said, I don't mean to be like that. I don't mean to threaten you because I'm a good person. But Doc, if she dies, you die.
Beth's battle with throat cancer is documented in a 2-hour special airing Monday on A&E.
We're going to show the world how she's going to beat this, okay?
Beth went under the knife for 13 hours. Doctors removed a tumor the size of a plum in her throat. The scar is covered with a bandage.
I'm not beyond that superficial, part yet, because it's still pretty new and it's still pretty big. And it's still tough to take.
Dog says he doesn't even notice it.
Listen, she's beautiful. I told her the other day, I can't even see it. And she's like, that's because you love me.
The surgery was a success, and the couple is now focused on changing the way they live.
He's cut down smoking, which is amazing, and doesn't smoke around me ever anymore at all. But you cannot live the same way, ever, because life will never be the same again.
Okay, Dog Chapman's wife, Beth Chapman.
Or what's possessed me, but I've decided to bake a cake.
All right, thank you very much. Now, as you know, Dog Chapman is, let's see. Yeah, let's take a look at here. Dog Chapman was born in Colorado in 1953. He's only 5'7". I did not know that. Dwayne Dog Chapman is only 5'7". All right. Myself, of course. I'm running for president. Why would you say, who am I going to be voting for in 2020? What are you, unable to comprehend what's going on here?
What's your view on healthcare?
My healthcare view is I want to provide a plan very similar to a universal healthcare plan, but better. Yeah. Hang on. It's a public option I'm giving people. We simply need to have Medicaid for all, which we have already, and offer a public option for extended services like dental and full health care. Oh, really? You lost almost 8 inches from your body? How did you lose 8 inches, New York PD? You were 6'4" and now you're 5'8". How did that happen? No, it's not illegal to vote for yourself. McLean, we have a standard in our show that you have to have a certain amount of intelligence to actually be in the show. Obviously, you got in here because you went to T. Rucker's show about a year ago. Those are the only people that are being allowed in by Mark. So that would explain why you're asking such ridiculous questions. Yeah, Mark only allows T. Rucker's IP addresses to come into the show. That's why he's censoring me, making lots of money doing it, and that's how he's doing it, in case you didn't know. Just telling you how it is. I'm not wearing a wig. This is my real hair. You couldn't pull my hair follicles like that. If it was a wig, my whole head would come off. we must worship TV personalities. I'm just talking about somebody who happened to have lost their life. Let's pay a little respect to what Dog and Dwayne and Beth have been all about, trying to protect America's justice system and keep bad criminals from skipping bounty. I mean, let's face it, they're doing a good service. Senate approves emergency aid for the southern border, but what will that mean? A Republican-controlled Senate approved an 84-8 vote of $4.6 billion in emergency aid for the southern border, but is Donald Trump just going to build a fence, or is he going to help people? That's the question. Everyone's wondering, will Donald Trump help people? He's all about himself. They did a good service keeping those bad people off the streets. You got to admit, Dwayne and Dog were very good. Dwayne Chapman and Beth were doing great work. Daryl, you're doing Blueberry Kush and you're trying to comprehend the show. Your mind is altered. You can't possibly be here. You're not here completely. Your body's here, but your mind is somewhere else. This is not Canada. McLean, this is the New York City, a place I happen to be. I'm not in New York right now. Thank you for asking, but this is not our hotel room's window. Please don't ask about people like Amanda, and show some respect for cam girls, even though they're trying to make money, through illicit means. No, actually, it's completely legal for her to make money. I don't think you should attack a woman because she's using her body to make money. I really don't think that's appropriate. Okay, Fapo? You're probably wanting to watch her right now. That's your problem. Okay, let's get back to the reality that the Senate has authorized $4.6 billion, but what's Donald going to do with it? Okay, guest 762 said, I've never been to T. Rucker's show, and I can get into your channel at Vaughn Live. Well, good for you. Well, maybe you're one of the rare few people that are allowed in. Trump's attorney has uncovered documents revealing that Clapper rushed to change intel, sharing rules before Trump's inauguration. Well, I got a headline for you right now. The FBI told Donald Trump that Russia helped him win the election 2 days before the inauguration, and he never has told the American people that. Wow. Okay. Andrew, we have solid proof that you've been making these videos that are being promoted. So we're going to have, Andrew, I'm sorry to say, but we're saying goodbye to you. You've just been outed. Yeah. If you happen to know Andrew and he wonders why he's been banned from the show along with Tom Aine, bear in mind, we will not allow anybody to make such slanderous videos about us. Andrew has been kicked out of the room. Yep. We found out that he was the one who put that piece of garbage together, that crap, which is disgusting, denigrating the show and effort that we put out. So Andrew has been removed from the show. I know the Democratic debate, if you're watching it, folks, is mostly bickering, and I got to tell you, they don't talk about the real issues. The real issues are we're being poisoned in the air we breathe. I'm on location, and I've been traveling somewhere, and I've been seeing chemtrails wherever I go. And it's shocking to think that they're spraying us with chemicals, heavy metals, without even discussing it with us or even having peer-reviewed studies as whether these are effective or not. The super rich people think it's okay to just dump chemicals on us, including industrial waste, and put it in our water system. In case you didn't know, fluoride is a byproduct of the aluminum smelting process. So they're willing to dump aluminum smelting fluoride in our water and dump chemicals like strontium, barium, and aluminum and selenium in our air, along with nanoparticles. That's what we need to discuss. The Democrats won't even mention it. And neither the Republicans or the Democrats, except, of course, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., have come out against forced vaccinations and how dangerous they are, and how the testing has not gone forward with the CDC regarding them. So I'm sure that as a third party candidate, I will be raising issues that they'll be standing there going, huh? They won't even have a response. Most of these people in the Democratic Republican Party are told what to say. And if they deviate from that script, they're in trouble. Yeah, the Democrats and Republicans are completely fake and corrupt. Both of them have been bought out. No, I'm not I'm not anywhere in particular right now. No. If you think I'm somewhere, you're mistaken, because I'm running our show through a VPN out of Singapore. No, I can't even get a response from the FBI when I called them. They won't even return my call. Bob, I do the show every day because I have to do the show. We're under attack every night, and these people want to stop our show in the worst way. So we have an obligation to fight them, and the only way we can is to do a free show from internet locations, and contacts that we have are telling me that Mark is getting paid a lot of money to censor us. I'm somewhere in America, yeah. I'm behind at least one proxy, that's for sure, and many more. Okay, if at any time you want to actually hear about Barack Obama's relationship with a man named Larry Sinclair, feel free to ask. No, Tor is run by the Navy and FBI. It's not a secure server. Plus, it would never send a video signal. The Tor server was a project that the Navy and the FBI put together a few years ago. It's a fusion project designed to make you think you have protection and security online. Everything you do on Tor is seen by the NSA. Senator Warren just announced she'll exceed Andrew Yang's commitment to $1,100 a month. Okay? And she said far exceeding a fringe third-party candidate's claim. Okay? Well, if that's true, we will be offering $1,111 per month to match Elizabeth Warren's claim if she wins the Democratic nomination. So I'm going to bump it $11, and we'll be up to $1,111 if indeed that's true about Senator Warren. We can't confirm it yet, but I will be glad to bump that price to $1,111. Bless you. Yeah, so there you go. If indeed that's true. Now I said I would match Andrew Yang's offer of $1,100 or $1,000 and take it to $1,010. Now I'm taking it to $1,111. Okay. Seriously, I'll take it to $2,000 a month if I have to. What's wrong with these people? They steal my idea, and then they keep bumping the price. I'll beat them every single time they bump that price. I'm now taking it to $1,111. Every American citizen will get $1,111 per month. If Andrew Yang or Elizabeth Warren win the nomination. I created the Basic Income Plan for America. Sarah and I published it in our book, Hybrid Capitalism, in 2012. So bear in mind, I'm more than willing to compete with these hucksters who think they can just beat me on a price offer. Yeah. And we'll do everything we can. In fact, I'm building an infrastructure bank to finance this. That's right, $1,111 a month will be my plan if indeed Elizabeth Warren has done that. We cannot confirm it yet, but prior to this it was at $10,000 or $1,010. Now it's up to $1,111. Unbelievable. I'm more than willing to talk about the waste that these Democrats, Republicans have created.
Maybe you can just say monthly basic income and not put a price on it, and the price will be determined later.
Well, I'm the guy that originated the monthly basic income, and they're offering prices. I think we got to put some meat into every single thing we do.
Well, the minimum of what they say, but
if any one of those two people beat Biden, I will match and beat their price. Okay? Good night. It's so nice to have you in, Anita. Take care. I'm glad you got some good antibiotics. You need it. Take care. Sleep well. Well, then don't sleep well. Stay awake. because you don't want to get near that moment where you're not sure if you're going to even wake up. No, I wouldn't bankrupt America at 1111 per month. No, not to every citizen who's not collecting Social Security and disability. And I'll tell you why. Are you ready for this? And Andrew Yang won't explain this to you. The numbers work in my favor. Sir Thomas More's utopia depicted a society in which every person received a guaranteed income. Yeah, even Richard Nixon talked about this plan back in the 60s, believe it or not. But I'm the originator of the basic income in current modern times. Now, the aging population, most of us are getting older and older, and less people are being born in America. If we stop the illegal alien flow into our country, which Trump can't seem to do, by the way, as you know.
You're listening to virtual interactive chat like you've never heard before. We are discussing issues from both sides of the political spectrum.
Being we have an aging population, most of us will be collecting Social Security by 62 to 65. So believe it or not, your Social Security income will replace the basic income. Isn't this brilliant? So as more and more people get older and older, the basic income becomes less of a drag on our society, and Social Security is clearly in the crosshairs of having shortages of funds. Cyrus Vance said it would last till 2030. Now he's the most positive view I can show you about the Social Security Trust Fund is Cyrus Vance, our former chairman of the Federal Reserve under Jimmy Carter. So the 1111 plan was born tonight, if indeed Elizabeth Warren is trying to beat me at my own offer. All right, thank you. Investigators found immigrant kids and families locked in disgusting conditions in border camps. Wow, thank you, Scissor Fight. Here we go again. Let's take a look. This is a BuzzFeed News article. Yep. Here we go. Wet wipes used instead of showers, repeated bologna sandwiches cause constipation, and standing room only in cells were conditions described in a draft DHS report seen exclusively by BuzzFeed News. Oh my gosh, these poor people are like on concrete floors, just like we were describing the other night, with no beds. These are asylum seekers in McAllen, Texas. When the DHS inspectors visited several border facilities in Rio Grande Valley, they found adults and minors with no access to showers, many adults only fed bologna sandwiches, and detainees banging on cell windows, just desperately pressing notes to the windows of their cells that detailed their time in custody. Wow. Well, this is more than enough proof for me to know that we've got a problem with Donald Trump and his cronies, Stephen Miller, who put the zero tolerance plan together and is destroying our relations with the world because they see us as a pariah like Hitler. It is different in their homeland. They could at least farm. They can't farm on a concrete floor. You can't plant a seed in a concrete floor and grow anything. All right. You're going to bust a rap for me? Callie Breeze says this is the new James Bond. I don't even know who you are, Callie. Hang on. All right, that wasn't worth playing. Keep it to political links, okay? Yeah, I'm sure that the new James Bond will get teleplay. Okay, Aquamux says we have lost parallel connection in binary code, Alaska to Patagonia. More than 2 million receivers after issuing from our secret place motel. The Wi-Fi is horrible. The color is alien yellow. outdated and disaster. We decided to stop the retrofit until further notice. Wow. And here I'm going out of my way to bring you a show. And you treat me like this? Really? That's a real slam against me, I'll tell you that. I take personal offense to that, what you just said. And I personally feel that you, as a person, are undervaluing the effort that's going into this show right now. That's pathetic. Jaundice yellow, really? Okay, let's pull the yellow down a little bit. There we go. Okay, I am really upset that you said that to me tonight. Yeah. It's disturbing because I'm doing every bit of effort to do a show for you, and you have the audacity to come in and tell me that. Okay, U.S. is now having problems with the Japanese treaty. If the U.S. attack, Japan can watch on a Sony television, Trump says in a dig at World War II defense pact. You know, that's really sad that Trump is turning on our relations with Japan. Well, I mean, I appreciate the rebroadcast, but we are doing an amazing job from a VPN. We can't do a broadcast from an actual IP address, otherwise we'll get death threats and SWAT attacks. And we can't have a professional lighting system because we have to work on the fly with multiple different factors just to get the show off the ground. I'm very offended, actually. Trump won with Russia's help. Yes. And many of you people don't realize that. NASA breached Mars Raspberry Pi. Hackers breached NASA, steal Mars mission data. Really? I didn't know if NASA had any legitimate mission data. What? I mean, how do you steal fake mission data? I mean, that's got to be funny. The infiltration was only spotted and stopped after the hackers roamed the network undetected for almost a year. So NASA actually had an open signal to hackers who could go in and just breach mission data. Well, amazing that they didn't find the green screen work that NASA has been working on in the underwater studio. JPL discovered an account belonging to an external user had been compromised and used to steal approximately 500 megabytes of data from one of its major mission systems. It attributed the intrusion to an advanced persistent threat group. Yeah, well, I'm amazed our government even has NASA, considering how incompetent they are. You know, as you know, our Space Force has been in operation since 1946, and there's no reason to think that we aren't getting the best quality military space technology you can offer. NASA is a joke. NASA doesn't even do a thing. We have some of the best highly trained military space professionals. Trump said he was creating a space force. I had to laugh. Truman created one in 1946, and it's been operating secretly since then. So to argue that we need a space force shows me how sublimely idiotic Trump is and has been for some time. He's not even clued in. I mean, it's amazing he can even talk without a teleprompter. Well, let's be clear. Well, Trump's talking about a group of people that are boring. Yeah, the Democrats and Republicans are both boring. My God, I mean, listening to the Republican Party convention is like watching paint dry. Japan is not screwing us for years, hardly. It's one of our strongest allies, and you Republitards are completely lost. For Trump to turn on Japan, he might as well just, clip his toenails and, have them bleed and walk around. I mean, that's terrible. Who'd want to do that? Beth Chapman is dead, yeah. Callie Breeze. You want to keep talking about that? I mean, there's not much to talk about there. But what Akumax has said is very disturbing, and I really believe that just because our signal is deprecated in some way doesn't mean you people have to bail on watching me. I find it extremely upsetting, and it's a personal effrontery to me that I go out of my way to do a show, and this is the way I'm treated. I don't think that's relevant to our news here right now. I'd rather talk about Kim Jong-un's addiction to Swiss cheese. We loved Beth Chapman. She was a wonderful woman, and when she developed throat cancer, everyone was wondering, what the heck? Why did you stop smoking? And she did slow down. But I bet she had one hell of a last drag on that cigarette. You can only imagine what that was all about. It's just amazing to me that people think that they can just come in and trash on my show and act like it's no big deal that I'm going out of my way running through a VPN to broadcast, which is not easy, by the way. We have to have at least 28 megabyte per second upload speeds in order to get through the VPN in time to actually see it, because we have to shield every single show from prying eyes, because we've been swatted, we've been attacked. We can't do a show otherwise. Yeah, seriously. Well, they can be. Well, Japan gave you Sony Walkmans, VCRs, DVD players, VR, virtual reality. Sony has done an amazing job. Toyota Priuses, Honda Insights, you name it, Japan has been there for us. So how dare you turn your back like Trump is doing on Japan? It's just shocking to me that you people who in the Republican Party have treated us Americans as though we should somehow betray our solid support from Japan. It just amazes me how mindless and myopic you are. You're short-sighted is what you are. No, Callie Breeze, the local police never even posted a police report about the event. They spent $30,000 on a swatting attack on us, and they never even posted a police event. So technically, they're open to liability from here until eternity. And we have proof that they actually swatted us. So because they chose not to actually close the case, they're open and they're liable. And I'm tracking a great deal of corruption in my area, believe it or not. The guy I ran against in 2014 actually was a sheriff. He had two jobs. Not only was he a legislator, but he was a sheriff too. I didn't even know that. And then ironically, the sheriff swatted us right after I ran against that guy. And you want to hear something else? This is scary. The guy spent his entire year trying to get all police records expunged from public view. And that's a fact, that's on the record. He actually tried to expunge all police records after that event happened, which is very suspicious if you ask me. He actually tried to pass legislation. It didn't pass, but he had tried to pass legislation so that nobody could look at any police records. Can you imagine? So that sounds like a guilty guy if there ever was one. So we know we have a problem with the immigrant children that Trump is not addressing. We know that he's creating a problem with Iran, which doesn't exist, in order to cover or divert our attention from his Russian connections. We know he's helping Russia in many different ways. And we know that the Democrats are weak and can't possibly impeach anyone because they are so weak. So we're kind of in limbo as a nation, if you ask me. And that's why we have to have a third party. There's no other way to stop this incredible corruption in the two-party system. Well, many of you don't realize, but Japan has been the leader in technology, in hybrid technology, in robotics, cybernetics. I seriously cannot believe that Trump would be turning his back on such an important ally as Japan, all because they want to buy some cheap oil from Iran. It's absurd. All right. Well, I think you're dealing with a person who doesn't know what he's doing. Trump has no forethought and no planning. He just doesn't even get it. It's a problem. The combined total wealth of the richest people in each state, from Jeff Bezos to Warren Buffett and Alice Walton, is $875 billion. Wow. And to think that our national debt is 22 trillion. So our national debt far exceeds the net worth of all the richest people by 1 to 20 ratio. I'm not endorsing Japan's treatment of us prior to World War II. I'm not even endorsing Japan. I'm trying to get you to understand they are a strong ally, a trading ally, and that's the important thing. If you don't get that, then watch as the economy collapses under Trump. You'll see. No tariffs have ever succeeded to build economic growth, ever, in the history of tariffs. Every economist in the world agrees with this, except for the idiot that Trump just assigned to the Federal Reserve. I mean, he's the only economist who, no one respects the guy too. He's a total idiot. All right, well, believe me, my father fought the Japanese, and he ended up killing nearly 100, or actually over 100 men to defend this nation against the Japanese attack. But I'm not going to stand around and call Japanese people names or in any way discredit them as a nation that's been very active in trade and certainly a growth nation. But for Trump to turn on them just because they want to buy some cheap oil from Iran is no real reason at all. Well, I hope you understand that this show cannot possibly endorse Trump's behavior. Sorry. This is not a growth time for our country. The systemic flaws in our country are the worst ever. The stock market was going to increase regardless of Trump. It didn't matter whether he was there or not. Stock market is merely a Ponzi scheme designed by rich people to make more money. It's just waiting to drop again. No, black people and women are not working as Trump claims. No, that's not true. In fact, unfortunately, women are bearing the brunt of the work in America. Most men are not working. 45% unemployment. We have 45% unemployment. We have 97 million people out of potential 215 million people not working. We don't have 4% unemployment. We have 45% unemployment. All your stats are wrong. Hey, you know, 409, you're not really a part of our show, so I'm just going to kick you out of here for an hour so you can get your head screwed on straight, because you're of no value here. Later. Wow, what an idiot. Believe me, I don't have to talk at all, especially considering I'm doing this on my time, on my dime, for you, whether you like it or not. Well, there's a book that was written by a Japanese, by a person who was describing the Japanese economic growth. It's called The 100-Year War. And it's true, they are trying to beat us economically. That's not some exaggeration. But there's no reason to stop trade with them. I know, and Japan has invested quite a bit in our U.S. bonds, and we owe them a debt to that. But the fact that we have an ongoing relationship with Japan means that that debt is good debt. If Trump turns on them, that becomes a bad debt. Hey, wow. Don't ever say that you're calling me David Duke, but what, because I look like David Duke? No, I'm not David Duke, and you got muted for 5 minutes to shut your mouth. Hold on, I've got another link from some person I don't even know. Okay, that's not really that relevant. I don't really want to take that story, no. Obama is old news. He's a New World Order puppet, so I really don't want to talk about him at all. Except to talk about, you know, his gayness and his Muslim affiliation. You're right. Scissor Fight's right. Trump is a puppet. He has absolutely nothing to do with growth. And the systemic flaws in our economy are still very real. There's no question about those systemic flaws. Why do you see more and more people in every city now homeless if Trump is doing so well for the economy? Trump is trying to manipulate statistics just like that unemployment statistic. Now, Reddit is restricting pro-Trump forums because of threats. These Trump-tards are threatening people now. Okay, we're going to give you a mute until you shut your mouth and and start thinking right. Reddit restricts pro-Trump forum because of threats. The subreddit The Donald was quarantined after users posted threats of violence against police officers and politicians in Oregon. Wow. Go figure, everybody. This is ridiculous. Yeah, well, let's be clear. The chat room in there. I don't have the story. I need the story. There it is. Well, let's be clear. Okay, the subreddit The Donald was quarantined after users posted threats. Got that. Reddit limited access to a forum popular with supporters of Trump on Wednesday, saying its users had violated rules prohibiting content that incites violence. See, they incite violence, these Trump-tards do. It's unreal. Site administrators said the users of the online community, which has about 750,000 members, had made threats against police officers and public officials. Wow. You see what I mean about these Republicans? They're willing to lie, cheat, and steal and get Russia's help to win, and now they want to take over the country and force women to have babies from rapists. Well, you know, we know who you are, President Green. You're politics for dummies. We've seen you time and time again come in the show. you rewrote your name a couple times. Hey, thank you. I'm doing the show despite all obstacles, and then I get Aquamex saying I've got a poor signal quality, and the video sucks. Well, believe me, we're broadcasting at high definition through a VPN for national security purposes. There's no way I could do a show directly through an IP because they'd see it and they'd attack me. Hey, I haven't seen you for a while, Sam's dad. Yeah, we got people coming in from all over. Now, somebody asked me, why don't you just stop the show and take a vacation, Dave? Because I can't. I can't do that. It's impossible. Yeah. If I were to stop the show, the elitists would win. I'm the only opposition out there stopping these people. My worldwide presence is essential. We can't possibly stop these people with money. We rarely get donations because most people in America are either poor or unaware of what we're doing. The worldwide audience cannot donate. Bitcoin is growing as a result of Donald Trump's failure to solve the systemic flaws in the economy. So Bitcoin is showing the real nature of the economy. People are like running to Bitcoin of all things to put their money, which is absurd. BitChute is not a real platform. They censor people over there. We have iVlog, but you got to understand, we couldn't get a show off the ground at BitChute. It's not going to happen. Vaughn was busted when they pretty much started. We've got another show we're going to do on Twitch, but we're getting censored there. They're systematically trying to censor us off the internet. But nothing is going to stop the show. That's my point. Even Mark can't seem to bring the clarity of just shutting our show down because he knows I'll go after him with the ACLU. He knows that he's vulnerable there. His attorneys have told him that it's not a private server, it's a public show. Despite the fact that they're hiding under the idea that this is a private show, it's not. It's available to the public. And every other Vaughn user is able to get in from anywhere in the public, which means that he has to give me equal protection under the law, and he's not. He's violating my rights and my freedom of speech. So Mark is liable if he shuts the show down. Well, Sarah gets 2 months to take a break, and she wants to do a few things, and I agree with her. And I figured, well, you know, I can still do a 3-hour show a night, and she can put up with that. Other than that, she gets to have her way and enjoy her vacation. I don't have any medical advice for anybody.
I think it'll be too late for swimming.
Till 10? Yeah. I can do it tomorrow morning. Yeah. I don't mind doing that morning with you. We kind of reset that up for tomorrow. Just relax tonight. Take a shower and just enjoy yourself.
I was going to ask you, do you want me to give you a break?
Not right now. I'm good. Maybe a little later. Unless you want to do it now ahead of time and then take your shower. Okay. Sarah wants to give you guys some time. I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to try to recover from Aquamex's hatred of our show, despite all the effort we put into getting here. I really am. I'm very offended. I can't even get over somebody who's trying to attack our show, despite all the effort we put in. It just makes me sick to think that that's how little that guy cares about the effort we put out here. It's disgusting, and frankly, I don't even care at this point. House backs a ban on the White House spending at Trump's properties, sending message to the president. Well, that's good. At least they're trying to stop wasteful spending by Trump. Yes, we banned Andrew GVN and also Tom Ain for promoting a very bad video that was denigrating us, slandering me. This happened last night and tonight. Okay, I'll get up. Sarah's going to take over. Okay, I'll bring you that story in just a bit. Scissor fight, thank you. Okay, Sarah's going to interact with the show. You guys can talk to her. I'm going to take a little break.
Actually, I'll be right back.
You're standing in defense of Tom, New York. That's a bannable offense. I'm going to mute you. If you continue to try to defend Tom for posting a denigrating, slanderous video, along with Andrew GVN, you'll be banned as well.
I'll do it in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Sarah will be here in 10 minutes. I've got my cold coffee from the road trip today. It's not bad. Cold coffee from a road trip is actually pretty tasty. But you see, I've got limited light. I've got a lamp here with a shade. I'm working with just the best color correction technology Logitech can give me. I do have a portable green screen, which Sarah and I wrestled with this morning and got it into a bag. It was kind of amazing. Sarah is amazing. She got online today. While we were trying to wrap up the green screen from last night, she got online and instantly pulled up a video showing the same green screen and how hard it is to fold up. And we managed to figure it out. So she really amazes me. And her technology capabilities extend beyond the show by far. Anyway, I just think a lot of you have to understand that this ongoing commentary about Donald and his ineffectiveness is something that I have to do. We cannot possibly let this guy get away with turning our country into the mockery of the world. You know something? Donald Trump claimed he had bone spurs in his feet when he was called for Vietnam in the Vietnam draft. He had a note 5 times in a row. Every time they called up the draft people, he had a note from his podiatrist that he had bone spurs. Let me tell you something. Bone spurs are so painful you can't even walk on them. If there's no evidence of bone spur surgery in Donald's feet, then he is a draft dodger. Okay? Now, we have on solid evidence that the doctor, the podiatrist that wrote those prescriptions for Donald Trump to get out of the draft, the daughters of that doctor said that their dad had free rent paid for by Fred Trump. Seriously, and they're willing to testify to that. Tom has been promoting a video that's slanderous of me, as well as Andrew GVN. He's been promoting a slanderous video about me. So we're going to be banning accounts. Anything to do with that video will be banned. No, draft dodgers have not been pardoned. In fact, what they did during that time period is an effrontery to the 58,000 men that died. So you standing there saying it's perfectly okay for us to give Donald Trump a pass of draft dodging 5 times is not counting for the 58,000 men who died and lost their life in the Vietnam War. Now, what you have right now is a draft dodger named Donald Trump trying to start a war with Iran. Now, put that in perspective. and think for a second what's going on here, and then wake up, you stupid Republicans. Well, I heard he dodged A1 draft status 5 times, but 2 times, I'll accept that. If it's just 2 times, fine. Either way, we've got a draft dodger as a president who's trying to start a war with Iran. Just think about that, you Republicards, okay? Can't believe it. I can't even believe I have this conversation with you every night. Take your time. Now, as you know, our show has been infinitely popular and continues to be popular, despite all efforts by many people.
You're listening to virtual interactive chat like you've never heard before. We are discussing issues from both sides of the political spectrum every night. Join us as we take on the two-party system.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming into the show tonight. We are a limited broadcast from 6 to 9. We're not doing a video show tonight, or any night this month or next month. So, thank you. Take care. Take your time, Scissor Fight. Okay, we're going to remove you from the show. Again, if anyone tries to slander me and tries to promote that video that was seen last night, I will ban you instantly. Now, Tom, that includes you. Where do you think that you're going to get off making a video slanderous of me and expect not to be banned? What kind of people are you? I mean, how stupid could you possibly be? Do you really think I'm going to allow people in here? You remember Misanthropy, right? Yeah, he was a guy that used to attend our shows regularly. Well, he's no longer going to be coming to our show, not because I banned him, but because I insulted him. I called him a cynical apathetic, because that's exactly what he is. And he's breeding apathy by saying that nobody is going to change their mind, nobody's going to become aware. The whole world is stuck in this place of non-awareness. We don't need people that are cynically apathetic. We need people to start thinking about sharing awareness with others. Do you really think we're going to be able to change this world if we just all sit around and go, oh, it's a waste of time, don't bother? I've spent 10 years and 9 months trying to build this third party against all odds, and I can't afford to have people like Misanthropy in the show. Well, thank you. I'm not happy about Tom and what he did either, and I can tell you Chet Kelly's on ice too if he continues to behave this way.
Okay.
All right, I'll be back.
Oh. Okay. Thank you. You're amazing, David.
Thank you.
Very, very amazing. I'll just say it there. Thin ice. Wait. What is this a video? I don't even know. So I can.
What are you trying to do?
Oh. I was just nothing. I'm just going back to the site and watching everybody. I'll be right back. So will David. All right. Thank you. Okay. Yes. Hello, Kelly Breeze. Where in California are you that you feel such a California breeze? Are you on the are you actually on the coast there or something like that? I watched a couple minutes of the Democratic debate. I didn't watch the full thing, especially not enough to know all of the different candidates. And there's, as you probably know, maybe not, but there's over 600 candidates for president. I'm sorry that you feel so sad about that, President Green.
What did they say about?
About the Beth.
Oh, Beth, yeah.
Chapman.
She was a nice person. Yeah, she was a very nice person, and she succumbed to cancer. It's unfortunate. Sad.
Okay. Not 5,900. 635 filed with FEC or something like that. Maybe more than that, but I don't know. Okay, anyway, so I'm enjoying my vacation immensely. I feel like I'm very fortunate to have some time and to be able to do what I want to do. And yeah, I'm enjoying my vacation a lot. And then I'll be back I'll be back teaching in September, which will be good too. I like my job. Have I ever been to Santa Maria, California? Yeah, I've been to Santa Maria, I believe. I've been to Santa Cruz and I think Santa Maria. Oh, near where I live, Rush? How about that? I don't want to describe where I teach because just like I'm still a private person, especially with David's campaigning. Yes, I've been to San Luis Obispo a few times, especially when I was young. That was very nice. David, I don't know, not that I know of, if he covered his computer in foil today. You did remind me that I need to look at my phone and do a couple things on my library apparatus. How do you know? Why do you think that? Behavior? Yes, I'm not looking for any strangers to stop by. You're just thinking we look like teachers? I know people say I look like a teacher and I'm like, oh, it's a compliment because that's what I am. Alright. He could be getting tracked. Is that what behavior's doing, trying to track me? Your grandparents live in Sherman Oaks. You'll see if they'll let me stay in their guest house. Thank you, that's okay. I don't need to stay in their guest house. What do you think when you think of a teacher? Someone who's kind and caring and helps people learn. Yeah, you're right, behavior. That is probably, I think you're right. It is the best route. Very true. That's a route I would take if I'm traveling east. I have been to Wall Drug before when I was traveling across country. Asked if and I stopped in for ice cream. That was in August and it was super hot outside and it was very good. Yeah, who else besides NYEMT thinks we should cover our computers in foil to keep from being tracked by satellites due to RFID chips? I like animal. Well, I love my cat, and so people that are dog owners, I appreciate how they care about their dogs because I care that much about my cat. You're going to construct a Faraday cage that will cover my whole computer. As long as I can still get internet access, though, okay. That would be lovely. It'll be interesting if I can actually, maybe one day I will stop in and see if I could get a Wi-Fi hotspot and see how that works. I do think I'll take a shower after this. I'll go and take a shower and get ready for bed. It's pretty cool that David and I are driving and we're spanning each other. Like I drove a little bit and David drove a little bit, and when David drives I just like I'm snuggling up and just sleeping. I have this really I hope I didn't leave it in the car. I have a really great eye patch, or eye covers my eyes when I sleep at night, and I use it to sleep in the car as well. That's very good. Love that thing. I guess it's not called an eye patch. It's like a eye. No, I sleep. I sleep when David drives. I'm very comfortable and confident in his driving. So I like to drive in the morning. That's my favorite time to drive. It's really good. Oh, that's so weird with my glasses, huh? Catching the... My eye's not really like that. I just have these blue screen glasses. I know. I don't know why I'm not watching the Democratic debate on Channel 5. Maybe. I don't... I kind of hear enough of what David has to say about politics rather than listening to more people. I watched a little bit of it, though. I will say that. No, I do not paint my toenails. I do actually take in maybe all the time, but I don't. Maybe that's it. I'm tired of all of it, so. I never paint David's toenails either. I don't even paint my fingernails because I don't like the smell of nail polish. I hate nail polish. No, my toes look pretty good. Well, most of them. Oh, let me look at my toes. I don't want my toenails painted. Like I say, I hate the smell of nail polish. Looking at my toes, a couple of them are weird, but my big toes are cute. My ring toe is cute. My pinky toe is cute. The other two toes, nah, I don't like them. Do I ever grow tired of the trolls like you? No, it gives my life meaning. Thank you. That's kind of like mine a little bit, Planet Fitness, but my mom said my dad was born that way and had to have surgery, and a few of my family members have had to have surgery, foot surgery. No, David does not have that New York EMT. David's mom refused to take that drug. I don't doubt it. U.S. plastic is now dumped in recycling. It used to be recycled, but then other countries are like, we're not taking your plastic, especially if you put other stuff besides plastic in it. We don't want your actual garbage. We would have recycled. I sound defeated? I should sound excited. I'm super excited. There's so much hope in our country. There's so much cool things happening in our country. I appreciate, hopefully legislation will pass about climate change. That will be good. No, I never bought any Bitcoin. Well, maybe visiting the redwoods would be nice. Visiting the beaches would be nice. Visiting the Capitol would be nice. Visiting, the Computer History Museum again. I love that place. Yesterday I seemed rested and today I seem tired. I don't know. I think I'm fine. I'm rested. I do need it. Oh, I should leave this off. I am planning to take a shower. I just haven't taken a shower yet. Maybe that's it. David usually takes a shower right before he comes into the show. I won't show my feet, but I will show my cool new sock. I don't even know what you mean. Yeah, and over time, mine's less and less and less. Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place. I don't know. Maybe I'm in California and maybe I'm not. I bet you will enjoy when I that's not weird. That's why I travel with this. Planet Fitness. I think that's a good thing to travel with. Planet Fitness says he doesn't like to walk barefoot on any hotel carpet. I have sometimes, but no, I don't have the flip-flops for the shower now. Well, it's good to be here, V-Rails. Anyway. It never ends. Well, the thing about it is David was, as we were driving today, David, of course, starts talking about politics. He lives it all the time. That's why it's so great for him to have this show. Because then he can talk to more people than just me about it. And he can talk to all of you. And I'm so glad that you care so much about this amazing country and care as much as, I don't know, David might care more than all of us, though. He talks about it as more than all of us, I think, combined. About what's wrong and what can go right. Will I be 70 some days still doing this? David has a lot of political power. Very powerful. Oh, David definitely counts chemtrails while traveling. He talks about how he wants to find a place that doesn't have chemtrails. But apparently every place we've been so far has had them. I will teach economics before it even happens about helping the environment. I know, all over the UHF, it's amazing. So wonderful. Unbelievable. Like that. Fortunately, no. He brought a zero water filter to filter the hotel water, which is really good. I like his zero water filter. The environment is messed up, you give up. No need to give up. We need to just rebuild our soil with compost. It's not too difficult to do. We haven't seen any military vehicles, but yes, in the past he often has. Oh, sorry, Sarah. No, we're on a similar connection. Does David ever show off his body? Only to me. Well, wait. If you go onto youtube.com/America's Third Party and type in fiscal hot tub, FISCAL space hot space tub, you will see David show off his body. Everybody's doing that now. Maybe tomorrow, Planet Fitness. We did have this wonderful night a couple nights ago when you guys were having the horrible internet connections, or we were having the bad internet connection. The good thing about that is it's like, okay, I'll end the show, and we went in the hot tub. Or first we went in the pool, went swimming, and then we went in the hot tub, and it was quite lovely. Because David's brutally honest. That's how I know. Sarah, bag lady. Oh no, when I say brutally honest, like non-confidential, or he couldn't. No, he could not be. I've known him long enough, and that won't ever happen. Seriously. David loves me wholeheartedly. He's very faithful. Shorter than mine? David has normal toenails. Honest is when honest is when people tell you everything they believe. Except with those virtual people, right? New York EMT. Yes, David has normal toenails. I know, you love David. We all love David. Well, even if it's inappropriate, David is honest. David will always be honest. Oh, thanks, that one guest. I wasn't paying attention to V-Real's discussion. Like, does this make my toes look big? David's the type that will definitely tell you, yes, that does make your toes look big. He's just that full person. Did it make you feel better, Planet Fitness? gosh. Andrew was banned because he was promoting some video that David, or posted links to a video that David did not approve of. David said was slanderous.
Oh, the video they made was horrible.
Horrible.
I was appalled. I mean, all that I'm doing for these people.
And he was appalled.
Yeah.
He did not post the video. Andrew did not post the video. He asked for music name.
Andrew's been perma banned too.
Tomorrowland TV Live said Andrew did not post the video.
Yes, he did. We have proof of it.
David says he has proof that Andrew posted the video. %. Wow. I prefer if it were 0%. You'll have to verify with David and get to the bottom of it. Sorry. I wasn't here when that occurred. I'm glad that you have another username. If David would probably try to ban you on that one as well. Yes, that's what I think David would agree with that philosophy. Yeah, no, don't use my GPS to dump plastic. No, don't do that. I think it's polyester, but it's nice. I don't think it is silk, but it feels nice. It feels silk-like. Shall I tell you what it is? I don't know. I'll have to check it out later. It's pretty comfortable, yeah. Oh, was it 46 years ago that this? Yeah, you could probably read the tag better than me. It probably does say Renown. 46 years ago today, JFK said, "Ich bin ein Berliner."
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Oh, ich. Sorry, I can't say that right.
Well, no, it's pronounced different. You're correct, but say ich. In one region, they say ich, in another they say ich.
Thank you.
It's a separate pronunciation in separate regions of Germany.
Okay.
One is ich, and the other is ich.
David is here.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Plastic. Well, I think that we do need to have a way to recycle plastic locally, but the big thing is, let's not use plastic in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, all these hotels, they have these like plastic cups. Like, I'm gonna try not to use the plastic cups because just to save that plastic. And then the plastic cups are wrapped in plastic.
Yeah.
So much plastic. And in fact, one of the things I was doing is I was like thinking about if I do go to a place like with a breakfast, I'm going to bring my own utensils, like my own spoon and fork and knife. And I mean, at first I was like, maybe I should make a little video for the hotels and be like, this is what you should do. You should get metalware. But then I'm like, you know, it's on me too. I have to choose to not use plastic products.
Right.
And yeah, I know the coffee does use those plastic pods, and the only thing like I tell myself, well, at least it's like a coffee lid is about the same amount of plastic as the plastic pods, but they do make the compostable ones. But the compostable ones made by San Francisco Bay Company, anyway, for your Keurig, those are designed to be composted in a commercial compost system which is like melting plastic. It's not that good. Anyway.
It's not that green friendly.
There is this place in San Juan's that if they ask for like a to-go thing, they say, do you need, they're like, oh, I need some silverware to go as well. Like, because they're staying in a hotel. They're like, anyway. And they give them metal silverware. And they're like, you can't give me this. I need something disposable. And they're like, it's no problem, man. Just take the metal silverware. If you want to bring it back, that's fine. And if not, carry it around with you. And that way you don't need disposable metalware anywhere. Yeah. I mean, think of any plastic that's used for 10, 15 minutes. We really need to rethink how our plastic in packaging happens. Yep, you're right. Callie Breeze says Sarah will teach economics before it becomes the thing.
Yeah, economics. Exactly.
It's funny because I have been teaching like environmental friendly stuff at school, and now like I hear about our district hired a sustainability and garden teacher that helps out the different elementary schools with their gardens, and then other school districts in our state are starting to do that same thing, hire sustainability people that teach that. I know, you are right, Kelly Breeze again. Are diapers disposable? Some are, but they don't break down. They're mostly plastic. The best diapers to use, of course, are the cloth ones, and you can get a laundry service to launder them. Yeah, you're probably right, Bengalitis. Forks have many other uses, like stirring paint, eating. I'll teach economics, and David will teach conspiracy theory.
Yeah, there you go.
You've always had a problem when you try to walk out the door with a restaurant silverware. I know, but we should really talk to restaurants about that idea. Like it's just, don't give people the choice of disposable silverware. And that way, they have something that's like too nice to throw away. And anyway. Yeah, true. So sorry. Yeah.
I think compostable plastic is the next best thing, though. We just have to ramp up the compostable systems that get rid of it,
Yeah, I just wonder how they work. I want to see them in action first.
Yeah, maybe we should look at a home compostable digester.
Because I think they have to get certain heat temperatures, and I'm wondering, is that just like melting plastic?
And that costs energy to melt plastic. Yeah, it's expensive, and it's not carbon neutral.
David does not own any copies of Catcher in the Rye, and he advises everyone to never read it, including myself.
It was written by an MK Ultra.
He tells me, don't read that book. And I
J.D.
never have.
Salinger worked for the government in MK Ultra. People don't know that.
This black eye thing, it's because of my glasses. See, my glasses have like this weird lens. It's a blue lens, and they catch light in a certain way, and so anyway, so it melds with the green screen. That's why. No, David is so nice. He would never do anything like that. He's a wonderful person. He's awesome. So kind and caring, and that's the thing. He just loves the country and cares about us. Cares about the country. Yeah, cloth napkins are nicer. It's true. Yeah, true. Our we have the best landfill in Washington State. Research Roosevelt Regional Landfill. It is amazing.
What do they do?
Well, they have they built it with all of this piping. They originally built it with all this piping that takes everything and turns it into methane gas, and they harvest the methane gas.
Wonderful.
Off of the garbage? Off the garbage. And they put the layers, it all comes in super efficiently. The trucks give it to trains, and then the trains come in to dump it.
Great.
And then they spread it, of course, with the tractors, but then they put the soil or dirt on top of it, and you drive by and you don't even think there's a landfill there.
Right.
You just see a couple, you don't even see, and you see most of it's underground because of the methane pipes are mostly underground.
That's a great
so
idea.
you see little things above ground. I mean, people from NASA have gone, like engineers from NASA go on tours of their facility because they're so technologically
That is
advanced.
really cool. That's what we should do.
Called the Roosevelt Regional Landfill.
I was thinking if we put heavy plastic vinyl on top of all of the landfills, we could virtually have outspouts on top of the ground.
Yeah, you just have to be careful because then you always have more trash coming in.
Yeah.
So it has to be able to
Gentrify.
yeah, that's it. Saffron Rice. It's pretty amazing. It's a great video over there.
Wow.
local.republicservices.com/site/Roosevelt Regional Landfill.
That's
It's
amazing.
so cool. I'm like, that's one thing I would like to do.
Okay.
I would love to go on a tour of their facility. I've never
should.
been there, but I
I'd
would
like to go there with
like
you.
to do that.
And I'd like to, maybe sample some of the methane air coming out of the ground just to get a whiff, That'd be kind of interesting.
Well, they take that methane and then they power building. They turn it into electricity at their facility too,
That's true.
and then it's piped into the grid.
We're putting a state-of-the-art septic system in our community, which is costing
Oh goodness, it's
$50
not
million.
that great.
I know. And they're making briquettes of human waste.
New York EMT is offering to give you a whiff of methane.
I'm just kidding. Well, they're putting a $150 million septic system in our area.
Oh, good night.
Oh, good night. Thank you, Sarah. Enjoy your evening. Get a nice shower. Take a bath. These things have baths in them.
Wow, maybe I will do that.
Yeah, if you want to use this, the bath, it's fantastic. I did it this morning, and it, because I was feeling kind of a little tightness in my lower back, and I thought, well, just jump into a hot bath of water, and it felt great. It really improved my back. Well, this is a laid-back show, I must say. There we go. I'm getting, believe it or not, I'm sitting in an easy chair, and it's really nice, really comfortable. I think this is the most comfortable I've had a show in the history of shows. As long as you guys can hear me, we're good. Ich bin ein Berliner. But what Sarah said about, composting is really important, and following up on it. America isn't doing enough to actually build industrial composting machines that can handle the waste. I would rather tell the people at environmental, handling, I'd rather say, hey, you guys, we got a place you could drop your stuff and it's not going to cost you a thing. Seriously. The guys in environmental cleanup in Staten Island, New York, they stick this stuff wherever they got to stick it. You know what I'm talking about? If the government said, hey, drop it here, no charge. I brought that charger in. So it's starting to charge up again, but we got about a day use out of it. Just total, and in whisper mode. We're running an ionizer in our car as we go down the road in our travel, secure travel center. And it is really amazing. It's fresh air. It's brings really crisp fresh air, and we don't have any road smells because we have a HEPA filter inside as well. Really is amazing. You've got to travel this way, people. You don't get on a plane that's completely, the smell is so poisonous. They don't filter the air inside of planes. So Yeah, they really don't. Yeah, our secure travel center. It's a mobile travel center. It provides us with all our needs. Yeah.
Kind of like the Night Rider. No.
It's very similar to Knight Rider, seriously. This cat is amazing. She is the best. She's at my feet right now looking at me, wanting me to pet her. I've never had a cat this wonderful, Sunstar. I mean, I had a cat when I was a young man. Actually, when I was a kid, when I was 14, 15, I had a beautiful male Siamese. And I had to let it go at 5 years old. And I just tore me up to see this cat leave. I didn't really get to know the cat as much as I have Amber. And Amber is 16 years old. So I've gotten to know Amber for 16 years, and she and I are like fused at the hip. It's amazing how I've never felt love for an animal like I've had for her. Well, actually, my 2 dogs I felt love for too. I had a couple dogs a long time ago. I actually raised Labradors when I was young. Black Labs. They weren't my ideal dog, though. I had better dogs. They're good dogs, though. Labs are. The golden lab is probably... I always wanted a yellow lab when I was a kid. Oh, look at that. She missed it. Let's see. At 16 years old, she doesn't play that much with things. Oh, she's getting interested. That's a cute gift they gave her. Look at that. I like that gift. That is so cool. Oh, there she is. And she even got up on her tired hip. She wanted to play with a little ball. Anyway, we're having a great time. Your lab's always getting hip leg issues. It's sad. Yeah, the labs are known for that. A lot of cats are too. Our cat has a hip issue. With CBD oil, we expect she's going to live as long as the oldest cat. In fact, our cat almost looks identical to the oldest living cat in the world. She's 38 years old. I'm going to show you the picture. Oh, that's not the right one. Apparently the one I thought was the oldest was dead. Oh no, she's doing. Yeah, meet the world's oldest age 26. No, there's an age cat 38 years old. Let's see what it looks like. Well, apparently there's a lot of age cats that are 24 years old and 27 years old. But the 38-year-old one looks a lot like this. And this is almost exactly how our cat looks. He's a male. He's 38 years old, and it's unbelievable. Same lines as our cat, too. You're not going to believe this. It's almost like the same cat. Except our cat is a little bit different because she had to survive a really tough birth where she nearly died. She had chlamydia from her mother's the birthing canal. And I managed to get a 15-day dose of chlamydia solution, which is an antibiotic. They found out chlamydia is actually a virus, a bacteria, not a virus. And they managed to purge it from her system, and she lived. I saved this cat, and now she's paying me back, I'll tell you. But that's the oldest living cat, 38 years old. Phenomenal. She's 16, so if she makes another 20 years, it'll be a miracle. Isn't that a cool looking cat? Looks identical to our cat. It's amazing. Little longer hair though. This one is a little longer hair. Okay, thank you for sharing my cat story. In case you're catatonic, we'll get you up to speed. That's a really old cat, Sunstar, yeah. Thank you, A. Spade. Checking for Miami at the Libtard Convention for Democrats. They try to throw you out twice for your ATP flag, which I've been waving for the top row. Hey, thank you, A. Spade. You're awesome. Wow. I'm impressed. A. Spade was actually at the Democratic Convention waving an ATP flag.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks. Well, you guys are in there swinging. You know, we're facing huge amounts of controversy and also censorship. So, the controversy I don't mind. Censorship, that bothers me. President Green. Yes, you've got the Beth Chapman has died story. Yeah, I know, and we've mulled it over a few times, and you know, this woman died, and it's sad because she recently found out she had throat cancer, and they removed this huge tumor, and she didn't make it. So I'm very sorry, but she was a smoker. Let that be a. See how fragile the lighting system is. Every time I move, You have a border collie that's 14 in August? Wow. Spot. Very smart dogs. In fact, I would not mind a border collie. No, I'm not a smoker. I would not mind a border collie if I could look into one, truly. Because they are the smartest dogs in the world, for real. So Google is going to, New Zealand's going to introduce its own Google tax if international bid fails. Well, I was watching a story today about Google and the couple other of the social networks. They're being grilled about fake news. And as you know, that Nancy Pelosi video was faked, and now they're going after Google for allowing fake.
Do you think I look good with things? I don't know.
That's too loud. Yeah, that's not good. Well, you know, they're going to introduce their own Google tax if the international bid fails. Who cares? But bottom line is, our government is now trying to impose any kind of restriction that can on Google allowing fake stuff. But there's no restrictions at all on stories that have no evidence supporting them. So in other words, if you have a video that's been altered, like the one they did with Nancy Pelosi, that's fake news in the eyes of the government. But if you have an event that happened and local police say, oh yeah, this is real, but there's no evidence of it, no credible evidence of it, that's not fake news, according to the government. They're pushing an agenda which actually is now allowed because NDAA, under the existing program, I'm going to soften it up because I don't want to bother the neighbors too much tonight. 1 hour and a half is enough. I counted about 30 chemtrails today, New York EMT. Yeah. But they suspended the Smith-Mundt Act of 1946 when they issued Barack Obama's National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, which Trump has reauthorized and reinstated. NDAA 2012 essentially nullified the Smith-Mundt Act, which prevents propaganda like the kind Hitler used in Germany. So they're able to use propaganda to influence our opinion. If they want to get rid of your guns, they'll tell you, oh, this terrible shooting occurred and oh, all these people died. But they don't even show you the evidence. And the telltale evidence of a fake false flag is there is always the shooter who kills himself or dies in gunfire, who can never face trial. And they wrap it all up. And we've had like 50 of these terrorist attacks the past 10 years. And they're using this technique of propaganda to try to get rid of our guns, America. And as you know, America stands in strong support of gun rights. Over 65% of the country support gun rights over any gun control. I mean, I used to talk about verification, and people at the alt-right would say, you don't have to verify anything, just everybody's got a right to bear arms. You saw a truck with an ATP flag on it? Are you serious? That was epic. Yeah, you guys, I have to assume you're telling me the truth, because if you weren't, we wouldn't even have a purpose of being here. It would just be me talking to a camera every night. I wouldn't do the show from the road every single day that I can. And if we ever have a real serious problem, we'll tweet about it at third party. But we wouldn't be doing the show every day if we didn't think there was a need to fight these people. And they think they can shut me down by paying Mark and having a select group of people in our chat rooms and limit access to many other people. And luckily our older viewers can get in because they grandfathered him in, but he keeps IPs out of our show as a form of censorship. I know Tomorrowland Live, I like your name, but we have solid evidence of Andrew doing that. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, we have. I'd give you the link. It's a Twitter link by Andrew. But now the page doesn't exist. So it was pulled down as soon as we outed him. Yep. So Twitter pulled it down. They're probably in on it. Who knows? Yeah, well, it's not just they're trying to bankrupt the NRA. The NRA paid a huge amount of money to Donald Trump, $30 million. And now they can't meet their bills and obligations. So they're trying to go Chapter 11. For real, the NRA. I think it's more of a, well, we got Russian money and we don't even want to talk about it kind of thing. Nobody's going beyond Maria Butina.
Search for missing Etika, a man's...
Yeah, no one's going beyond Maria Butina's testimony. It ended there. Notice that? Whereas I would have opened up a grand jury investigation into NRA's involvement in the Russian funding. The NRA had a spike in funding 2-3 years prior to the election, 1 year in specific, and a lot of it came from Russia. So that news story isn't breaking. Maria Butina is serving a couple years in prison, I guess 18 months, admitted to a few crimes. They're wrapping it up in the court system, and they're making it go away. Yeah, the NRA is in deep, and now they're trying to bankrupt the NRA. The NRA is bankrupting. And what's interesting is when the NRA gave $30 million to Donald Trump, who then wrote a check to a wedding planner, or the inaugural planner for the event, for $27 million the next day, who happens to be Melania's best friend. It's almost like Donald just said, "Okay, Melania, what do you want? Do whatever you're going to say. I said a very bad thing to you at the inauguration, but how can I make it up to you?" And she probably said, "Donald, you treat me like garbage. Give me 27 million or else." "Oh, okay, whatever, I'll have the campaign finance it, whatever." Because he really, literally gave her 27 million, the best friend of Melania, for an event planning session. I mean, how does that work? You take 30 million from the NRA, possibly funded by the Russians, and give it to a woman who's close friends with Melania? That's just so weird and suspicious. But how many other cases of emoluments, 22 cases of emoluments violations by Donald Trump so far, along with conflict of interest? Seriously. I mean, this guy he's floating in corruption. And you people who support him, you might as well just hang a sign on your head saying you support the devil. Really. You might as well just do that. Instead of turning to a brighter future where you don't have to turn to darkness like Donald Trump, and look toward a positive future for America, where I don't alienate the American people from other countries, where we open doors and reach people for trade and encounter everything new and fresh with a brand new look. America's third party. Welcome to our show. Thank you. David, what will you do about all these sharks killing Americans in the Bahamas? I didn't know it was happening. American woman killed by sharks while snorkeling in the Bahamas. Okay, we got a couple stories we got to bring in here. Yeah, this is serious. Wow. Does it come with this, like a video or something? Okay, let's take a look. It's an ad, dude. I can't do ads. American woman has died after she was attacked by sharks. Killed. Oh, man. 8-year-old boy bitten by shark off North Carolina coast. This is exactly why I don't go swimming. Jordan Lindsay of Torrance, California was swimming in waters near Rose Island when she was bitten by multiple sharks. Wow. I was nearly attacked by 14 tiger shark in Palos Verdes, California, when I was skin diving off the coast there with a guy I used to know who was a total jerk. This Ashkenazi guy I used to know. I'm writing about him in my book, actually. Yeah, I should mention that he forced me to swim with sharks. No, I was out there at Palos Verdes coastline, and he's like, "Come on, man." We were like gung-ho, 17, 18 years old. We were, it's like, I gotta show you how to skin dive, dude. And I knew how to, swim. I'm a really good swimmer. And I'm out there, and we got the goggles on, and we're looking down, and the tiger sharks, 6 feet long, are like swarming underneath us. It's like, I'm out of here, dude. Later. And I ran. Yeah, they eat people. They were supposedly not the kind that kill people, but they eat them. Then they kill them. I did body surf. Yeah, I grew up in Orange County, California, Huntington Beach, and then Redondo Beach, Hermosa, Manhattan. Those were my stomping grounds in the 80s and 90s. And actually in the 90s, I was more Santa Monica area, Venice. So there's a lot of things that I've done that are beach related. I really enjoy the coastline. I told Sarah that even with the gamma rays coming from Fukushima and all that irradiated water, which it shows like levels 100 at least 10 to 15 times normal. I said, we should just go beachcombing in Eureka, or, walking on Crescent City, and just, it's just so nice to be at the ocean. Makes you feel really, really renewed, even if it is hitting with you massive gamma rays. Oh, so the debates are on. I'm kind of taking a look. It does seem like a kind of a mild-mannered, oh, yeah, we're really worried about the environment, so we support cap and trade. Oh. Yeah, I knew people that knew Arnold. I did not know Arnold directly. I used to know his trainer in Venice. Great guy. Yeah. He was not a cybernetic organism. Human flesh of a metal exoskeleton. Chet Kelly had a history of attacking us at the T. Rucker Show. We have chat records dating back 3 years of you guys slamming us. And you act like you're some new person? Yeah. Who do you think will be the final Democratic candidate against Trump next year? Biden. Yeah. I was actually a pro-Biden guy in the old days, before I found out about how he's been touching children and women and grabbing their bodies. And yeah, I actually did not want Hillary, but I especially did not want Barack Obama prior. So I kind of bailed on the Democratic Party in 2007. But I was actually, at one point, aligned politically with Biden on some issues. He's a character that is obviously controlled by the power elites, and they think they can manipulate him like they manipulate Donald Trump. So I think they got him by the short hairs, too. He's a Zionist, just like Donald Trump is, and he's an alleged perv, just like Donald Trump is. So he's got an alleged perverted Zionist running against an alleged perverted Zionist. Hey, let's take a look at microfiber. This is a rag that I use to wipe everything. I mean everything. And this thing amazes me. I've been pulling bugs off the grill of our travel center, our mobile travel center, smoothing it down with Teflon wax, put it on there, rinse it off. I won't wash myself with it because it's filthy, but I've rinsed it like 50 times, and it's like brand new still. It's like, this is an amazing invention. Yes, we have the fruit enzyme spray, just so you know. I try not to leave home without it, so here it is, making its debut on our travel show. As you can see, it's transparent, and it gives me that feeling of vitality that I need, especially after a long trip. Hey, how you doing? That's nice to see you're in. Dave, let's see it under a black light. Sure, take a look. See, it's completely transparent. Has a little tube down the middle. It helps me maintain transparency in my approach toward the show, and it keeps my face feeling fresh as a daisy. Yeah, it'll be Trump versus Biden, unless Warren doesn't seem like she can answer to the fact that she committed fraud and perjured herself when she said she was a Cherokee Indian. All the Democrats know that. Beto can't get out from under that DUI of 1.34 alcohol, where he tried to run from the scene of the crime, or the fact that he actually wrote a story about wanting to murder children. That's a tough one. Beto's going to have a hard time getting out from under the fact that he worked for a hacking group as well and married a woman with $12 billion family money. We don't need these rich pigs running our country, and Biden, that's including him. We don't need these fake, two-faced pigs running our nation. We need the average Americans to fix this country right now, not some guy who can spill out words that somebody else wrote or barely read off a teleprompter like Donald Trump. Like I said, the sharks killing humans is really the issue. I believe that sharks are screaming out, saying, we're one of the oldest species on Earth, and you stupid humans just you're destroying the Earth. I think in their own psychic way, they're screaming for help right now, the sharks are. I don't live in a motel. I live in hotels. And we travel, whenever we travel in first class. Bernie's you could wind him up and run him like one of those talking monkeys with a minstrel. He hasn't solved the Wall Street problem. He hasn't even done it in Vermont. He sounds more like a communist every day, wanting prisoners to vote like average citizens. It's absurd. And Bernie is wanting to take the country into a very dark communist direction. We are in desperate need of a centrist political focus where we can answer to both sides, not divide the country. And Bernie's a divider, just like Obama was, just like Donald Trump is. But bear in mind, if you don't travel in first class, when you travel by car or by vehicle, you will get burned out really fast. I've traveled across the country 50 times in trailers, in cars. At one time, Sarah and I slept in a car, like numerous rest areas, just because we couldn't find a motel room, and we were being really cheap. I mean, I've done it all. I mean, and cross country with my family, I've been in trailers, and it unless you enjoy your trip, and we really did. That's how I did it 50 times. Unless you enjoy your trip, you really get burned out quick on travel. So my thing is, I don't want some guy at the TSA or anyone to grab my junk or force me to go through a rapid scanner where they send out low-level radiation that can impair your DNA or be, frisked wherever you go. I just don't want that experience, let alone breathing unfiltered air in a plane, even if it is like a 4 or 5 hour flight. That's unfiltered air. And they spray multicides in the air. We have photographs of them spraying multicides. Turn your head on cough. How's that? But no, seriously, what we do is I put an ionizer on a backup battery system. We have a lithium-ion battery system, and we have a HEPA filter in our travel center that runs all air through a HEPA filter. And we're not breathing any diesel or pollution. It's like better than a hospital room when we travel. So you got to make it nice for yourself if you're going to enjoy a trip. And without air conditioning, don't even go. Seriously. I have thought about putting the Honda under a blimp as my first test vehicle. Yeah. Harness the Honda to a blimp to do a promotion. Yeah. The blimp car. Okay. My position on slavery is I'm formally against human slavery at all levels. And what we're seeing today is human slavery. I understand that people that are getting paid heavily to censor this show just got into the human trafficking business. That's what somebody told me. And I think that's pretty sick. Slavery has been a horrible thing throughout history, and it still exists in our society. We went to a buffet, a really famous buffet recently, and one of the waitresses was there many years ago when we were there. And I said, "You're still working here?" And she said, "Yeah, I worked 23 years at this location." It's like, wow. We stay in hotels, Daryl. Yeah, nothing but the best. Yes, I'm in a state where everything is legal. No, that's not it. It was the Wynn Hotel, the best price buffet, $24.99, and you get the same quality you'd get at Caesars for $60. Oh, I gave up my location. Oh, damn it. Sorry, Vegas. Okay, anyone who making references to that person is an automatic ban in the show? Thank you. You can't talk about a guy slandering me and doxing me and making tons of money doing it. I know fully what's going on. We have supporters that don't believe that these people are making tons of money. I know they're making millions. Our show is so popular worldwide that the people around the world watching it can't stop watching it because we are like a living entity. Humans in America have been turned into like vegetables, but we're like the high prime quality amino acid. We're not like low bottom dwelling vegans. We're not zombies on fluoride. Sarah and I are living human Americans that are at the peak of our effort to save this nation. So they're looking to us for leadership. Show you proof of what? No, I would never stay at the Golden Nugget. No, I would only stay at a top quality hotel. If you're paying less than $200 a night, you might as well not even go anywhere. Yeah. Well, I get a good rate. Wynn gives me, I keep telling my location away. They give me 5 nights for, or at least the discount promotion I get in the email offers, a really good rate. I'm not lying. I'm actually telling you a possible statement that you can go with and run with as opposed to the real truth. But Wynn does send me discounts in the mail, whether I'm there or not, and whether I'm at that buffet or not. I'm not going to give you the name of the buffet I went to, okay? It's not about lying. It's about misdirection. No, my Honda actually was completely neutralized of cat pee. I found this incredible deodorizer that gets rid of cat pee, and I sprayed it in the car when I left it. It's a collector's item, as you know, the car, the Honda. And I sprayed it, and it's just setting right now, so when I open it, it'll smell like a brand new car without that toxic smell. It's the new car smell without toxicity.com. Don't get that website. I already ordered it. That, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Fresh car scent without toxin.com. Normally it smells like Febreze, when you get those things. They're horrible, untested crap. You know that Johnson & Johnson, the family company, and SC Johnson, the family company, they rarely even test their products. Yeah. Johnson & Johnson's facing some serious lawsuits about that talcum powder thing. The baby powder issue, that when women were using it on their body parts, they got cancer. Because guess what? Johnson & Johnson talcum powder, baby powder you grew to trust, has asbestos in it, and ass is not always bestos. We did one break time with Sarah, which was a wonderful time. She's amazing. When we travel, she helps with all the prep and cooking. And I told you she packed one of the bags. She fit so much into one bag, it's beyond belief. It's like there's not a single inch of available space, and she did it geometrically. She's very spatial, and so am I too. I'm a spatial genius. So we kind of have that in common too. Now that's a sick statement, which will automatically get you a mute and a temporary ban later. Chet, that's a mutable offense, and you're on your last leg here. We know how you've been slamming our show for years. Yeah. Slow modes is just the same war game / city critter, probably a government agent. I have profiled slow mode as a possible government agent. Definitely possible. Yeah. Of all the people here, slow modes would be the most likely government agent. I'm thinking FBI. David, the walls and the mountain notes is everything. You listen to the. I don't know. I don't even hear or smell anyone having sex near me, which is unusual. In a world where you don't know what's going on near you. But I like Ivan. He says, David, how about Bernie? I come from the land of. Oh, I'm sorry. I put the screen over my. You've been watching my chat. I come from the land of burn-tards. I'm glad you didn't see my face when I talked about sniffing and smelling people through the walls. Yeah. I can't smell sex through walls now. That's the thing. Yeah, unless you've got a really good whiffer. Bernie's an Ashkenazi. It's pretty obvious. They called Bernie the moocher back in the day. Hogslammer said he's dating a transgender girl and she wants to meet your mama. I'm going to take the advice of my next door neighbor, who at one time his son told him that my next door neighbor is dead, by the way, not my current next door neighbor, but a long time ago. His son told him after 45 years that he was a homosexual, and his father
was like a year before death, and he told his dad that he was gay, and then he was doing this 17-year-old guy. It was just the weirdest thing. Don't put your mother through that. No, she doesn't need to know this. God. Dave, the walls in the motels are very thin. And listen, sex, in your broadcast to be very careful. Yeah. I don't listen to people like up against the wall seeing if they're having sex. That's like a perverted thing, no. I'm just saying I'm not in a nice place, and I'm giving you valid proof. Thank you. Okay, what do you have, Callie? Police officers killed in the line of duty in the UK and in the US. A comparative chart. Well, aren't you special? Okay, police officers killed in the UK, hardly any. Look at that. Wow. In the US, the chart's through the roof, 2,445 people versus 25 in the same 14-year time period. Wow. Thank you very much for telling me. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Well, you know, not only that, but there's been a lot of deaths from cops. We talk about that on Freedom Friday, you know, the brutality level in America. On average, 1,200 people a year are dying. 1,200 people a year are dying by cop, and more than half of them are unarmed. You don't see anything like that in the UK. I think in the past 20 years, only about probably 20 people have died in the UK. So part of the reason why cops are dying is because they're shooting people. Unfortunately, there's a causal relationship between brutally shooting people and getting killed. And Hammurabi, the great Egyptian, said it very simply: an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Hammurabi's code. I don't endorse it, it's just what goes on. It's like karma. If police think that they're going to be able to go into cities like Chicago and just start killing them, people, they're going to get killed, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, we need a friendlier approach toward living on this planet than police brutality and overwhelming police presence in our day and age. Frankly, I'm shocked that we have to live on edge all the time in America. Like, at any time you go 5 miles an hour with the speed limit, here they come, you know? Well, believe me, I am not here to endorse or stop that, but he was right. Hammurabi was right. That code is something that we live by. Even our modern judicial system is set up that way. In Iran, if you kill somebody, the family gets to decide how you're executed. I actually find that to be rather interesting. It's a kind of an evolved way of retribution. Yeah, I'm trying to give you guys a voice of reason. I'm a centrist, and I decided not to be a Democrat because they were moving in a communist direction. But I do want to solve the environmental crisis. I'm willing to address the real problem behind the environmental crisis and climate change, and that is the chemtrails. The Democrats won't talk about chemtrails. They won't talk about GMOs. Hillary's bought off, and every other Democrat who works on campaigns to help the environment actually endorsed Dow Chemical. I mean, how is that possible? I'm trying to keep my voice down. In fact, I started out the show really loud, and I'm bringing the mic in. You see that? Yeah, I'm trying to keep the voice down so that my neighbors are not disturbed. I'm very attentive to the neighbors. Chemtrails in the air. And the Democrats seem to be in love with alcohol, whereas I'm not into alcohol. And I'm kind of like Donald Trump that way, except I don't, have a sniffling problem. That's a little weird. Your neighbors can hear you talk? No, they can't. I'm talking so low, you could be watching an ASMR of my face and hearing my whiskers. I have a different thing I do. I don't do ASMR. I do RUMR. Well, it's kind of like Dave the therapist, except I don't have any professional training whatsoever. My face is distorted on here. How is it distorted, Candy? Exactly, because I can zoom in on it. Yeah. I want to know exactly how it's distorted. So is it? Yeah, is it too close, or should I get closer? I'm completely zoomed in. Yeah. That's as zoomed as I can get. Yeah. Let me do frame rate as a priority. I just set my priority for frame rate. And I gotta admit, I have not mastered the new auto white balance systems and the color correction that Logitech finally came out with. It took them 20 years to come out with software. But I'll get the right look eventually. We have a different light. I'm using 3 incandescent bulb, or they seem like LED bulbs, 3 of them. Might even be, yeah, I'm the only person that can beat Trump. No, Trump Jr. is a pushover. Imagine him telling officials in the government that he was meeting the attorney to end sanctions for Russia and talking about adoptions, and then changing his testimony to claim he was looking for Hillary's emails after his dad weighed in on it, according to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who should be charged with a crime as well. Yeah. We have people in the field that are doing really good research into the haters that are coming in here. Candy, we're going to take you out of the show because you're not relevant to our show, and if you want to come back in an hour or so, you can, but Trump's not going to win anything. Just get me into the contest, and I will eliminate Trump from the running. Yeah, we can expose Trump openly in front of cameras. I'm more than willing to do full interviews with every major news network and describing Trump's incredible problems, inadequacies, which apparently the Democrats can't piece together and talk about in a frank way. I'm perhaps the only person who can enumerate all of Trump's failings and all of his connections to the Russians and all of the failings of the Mueller report. I can do this rather quickly in mainstream media context. That's why they don't want me to actually get in front of a camera. They're afraid of actually hearing a person of my intelligence contest the whole situation. They are. They don't know what's next. David, 96 HB reception noise speaks more. Low guest next door. Are you going to complain to the manager? No. Everyone's doing great here. I saw my neighbors, and I could tell that they don't need more than an hour of me screaming. Good night, Sunstar. Sleep well. You remember what happened with Candy Rain? Remember her? I haven't heard from her in a long time. Have any of you seen her online? We have a screen grab of that, by the way. Yeah. No, I did not see anything. Okay. I love fries. You're making statements that are not true. If you continue talking about scissor fight in that way, you're out of here, okay? My level is pretty low. You hear me loud on your end because I'm speaking into this RUMR microphone. It's actually a Samson, which is pretty nice. $24.99 at Best Buy. Are my testosterone levels high? Yes. I'm so virile I could probably, just walk by women and they'd probably, But I don't touch women. I don't get involved. I don't touch anyone. I'm very, as you say, polite and gentlemanlike. $24.99 on this mic is pretty damn good. My level should be 80 HB. Well, let me drop it. Let me see if I can take my audio down. How about this? What do you hear? Are you there? Because I'm clipping a little bit. Is this better? Do you feel better about this? Check this level. Testing 1 2 3. Testes 1 2 3. Only one. It's not. In fact, it's not emitting any RF signals whatsoever. I've toned the whole show down because now I'm in like a cruise quiet mode because I don't want to disturb any of my neighbors in this hotel. It's a very high-end hotel. So, and we're using some cheap lights, but I've got some nice lights. I just haven't hooked it up yet. This summer, I'll be getting into I'm buying a Wi-Fi hotspot, and we'll be doing this show from remote locations that you won't be able to see or know where it's from. But you'll see some amazing stuff. Yeah. We are going to give you some live video, but it won't have any identifiers. You won't know where it is. So I may be in a cave in an unknown location, possibly under the Denver airport, waiting for Armageddon, or I might be in, a beautiful. Well, actually, if I showed you anything that was an architectural nature, there is artificial intelligence that can actually identify the location, and it would put me in danger. So I actually have to give you something topographical which doesn't in any way have a mapping system attached to it. And you might find yourself living in a shotgun shack. It's a really nice place. Yeah. They offer breakfast in the morning. I gave up my location. Well, believe me, I'm the only person who can articulate the problems with Donald Trump. Everyone else seems to fall short, although Gerard Nadler, Representative Gerard Nadler, did a great job, but I feel he's been eating too many bagels and lox to make it convince Nancy Pelosi to get those subpoenas to go all the way and charge criminal charges against William Barr. I'm surprised that Nancy Pelosi still has control over the Democratic Party, being she's so inept. No, I'm not there you can't just eliminate places either. But no, Nancy Pelosi has become the poster child of ineptness in the Democratic Party. I mean, when you think about the Democrats, you think of this bobbling woman who looks like she's on a combo of Valium, Xanax, and mood elevators, and smiles with her stitched up face all shot up with Botox. I mean, it's pathetic. And I feel sorry that the Democrats have turned into this joke of a party, but all we need as a centrist party is a little bit of news, a little bit of free press, and we're on our way. They couldn't even get close to us. We can deliver messages to the American people with solid purpose, whereas these Democrats are scrambling for a purpose. We want to help the homeless, but we don't know how. Oh, we need more money. Oh. Build a toilet. Nancy Pelosi has the most crappy district in San Francisco where the most crap has been picked up. They've spent $750,000 picking up crap from homeless people. And she can't even build a toilet. That's how ineffective she is. No, in fact, I openly walk out of the Continental Breakfast with food in my hands, just to show them that, hey, I can spend $250 a night and you can't do anything about it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're going to bother me for a banana when we just dropped $250 on your hotel? Thank you. I'm actually brutal. I'm one of the most brutal people when it comes to complaining about the service at the breakfast bar. The other day I had a problem with. I'm sorry. I'll drop my voice. The other day I had a problem with the no bran flakes and no bran muffins. I thought, okay, I won't complain. I'm not going to complain. No bran flakes, no bran muffins, no problem. Then I went to the eggs, and right when she started pulling the omelets out. And no, it's called it's a bulbhead.com ceramic coffee container. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Keep tabs on the audio levels. I appreciate that, because I was really loud today when I started. But yeah, I mean, no bran flakes. When you're driving in a mobile travel center like I drive in, you have to actually keep it to your bran levels have to be, your probiotic levels have to be normalized. Otherwise, you can get constipated sitting in chairs going 80 miles an hour down the road, or 70 miles an hour, however fast you drive.
But I just wanted a little bit of bran, not a lot. And I thought, okay, that's no big deal. Well, I'm just saying, it's not too much information. I'm trying to help all of you with your colon. Get a life. Okay, Mama Louise? Okay? Okay? Get a life, okay? But what I'm talking about is, yeah, prunes will work. Any probiotic will work. Yeah, you don't have to overdo it, though. I agree. Anyway, when I get the eggs, she pulls all the omelets out, which are like prefabricated omelets or whatever, but made with egg beaters. You talking to me? Are you talking to me? And then she brings in this big bowl of egg beater stuff that they microwave. And it was microwaved like an hour ago. And she set it in the hot container, and I taste it. It's like cold. So I go from no bran to cold. So that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I had to go to the front desk and say, you got cold eggs. Come on. And he explained that they hadn't had a delivery. And they got hit pretty hard by a bunch of people. So it turns out they got the delivery midstream. They must have known somebody who knew somebody, and they got the bran flakes in there at the right time, and everything turned out great. Moral of the story is, if I hadn't complained, I probably would have gotten my bran flakes. No, seriously. There's a lot of issues with breakfast bars. Every one of them is unique. I'm lucky to be eating. There are people starving to death right now. No, 200 is the low end of the hotels we stay in. Well, yeah, most of the hotels are discounted to 200. They're like Donald Trump's basic rate. What is he, 640 a night? And they discount it to the Russian oligarchs who are doing money laundering to 200 a night. Or maybe they don't even pay. I'd like to know how much money those Russian money launderers were paying Donald Trump to stay in the Trump Towers in New York in 2013 when the FBI were listening. I'm wondering how much they actually... Nobody's subsidizing us or anything. I get no money at all, not a penny, except for a few donations that people made. We got a donation from one of our earliest supporters in 2008 recently to help us maintain this VPN. That's how we stay alive. That's how we managed to pull this off. We're on a shoestring budget. All right, hang on. Okay. So, I think we talked about how to travel in style with HEPA air filters, ionizers, maintaining you like the little flashing lights? Doesn't that look like New York skyline at night? Twinkle, twinkle? That's actually a green screen effect. I know the win rates start at 179. Like I said, I got a really good deal offered to me in the mail. Yeah. Win offers me much lower rates than that. We signed up with Win years ago. Mark supposedly has a suite that he purchased at Win. That's what I hear. Nobody's subsidizing me at all. I'm doing this for free. I have no money coming from this at all. You've been banned. No, this is just an archive effect of having low lights around me. Yeah, this is good. No, I'm falling into the nighttime. I feel like the Tomorrow Show with Snyder interviewing John Lennon. So, how do you feel about going around New York, hanging out to Dakota?
Yeah, I really have no problem. I travel all the time with Yoko. Yoko and I are very, very happy. No one ever bothers us.
Really? Then he gets shot in the back 5 times by Mark David Chapman, a known MK Ultra agent. Well, Mark David Chapman, yeah, Tom had a bad hairpiece. Mark David Chapman recited the works of J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye. And his wife, who was also Asian like Yoko, actually said, I think it was his girlfriend actually, actually said that Mark never read that book. Now, Mark David Chapman was estranged from his wife or girlfriend for about 2 weeks. He flew to Hawaii, where he met some unknown person, and then came out of that directly to New York, reciting the works of J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye. By the way, J.D. Salinger was a recluse living in Vermont most of his life because he was an MK Ultra handler and agent. He worked to develop MK Ultra teaching material for controlling people. That's why J.D. Salinger kept such a low profile. He was an agent for the government. Now, having brainwashed the guy, I don't give Mark David Chapman any leeway whatsoever. He killed John Lennon, and he should serve his time to the full extent of the law. And the rule of law applies to everybody, even if you're an MK Ultra victim. But I don't believe that young man would have done that had he not been brainwashed. J.D. Salinger, not Pierre. If it's Pierre Salinger, that's your choice. Maybe they're related. Yeah. There's a lot of government agents. Gloria Steinem was a government agent for the CIA. She triggered the feminism movement, which forced both men and women to work, which kind of put the workload of life on both parents, which took away from the social upbringing of the child, thereby separating the child emotionally from the mother and father, which is another scam that's been pulled over the American people's eyes. There's a reason why the nuclear family was created, because they needed to get both people working so hard they couldn't think. They couldn't ask questions. And they were so tired when they got home they could barely even function. And that's the case of most Americans. And they're so in debt that they can barely even meet their debt obligations. So, hey, this has been a nice intimate chat. I'm glad we were able to do this. I've got another 20 minutes to go, 23 minutes to go. So if you have any questions at all about the future government that I plan on building for America, feel free to ask. I wouldn't doubt ABBA and other groups were collecting information for government agents. The government under the Tavistock Institute has been doing a lot of work in developing propaganda since 1946. The Tavistock Institute is an outcome, an offshoot of the Neo-Freudian movement, which came out of the Nazis. And what occurred during the Nazi period was they learned how to brainwash large populations using music. So they assembled a group of young musicians out of Liverpool that happened to be playing in a nearby club in Hamburg because they were in Frankfurt. The Tavistock was, the origins. And they found these four guys, Pete Best, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison. But they didn't like Pete Best. So they said, you're out and Ringo Starr's in. And voila, they had their studio musician group, and they started creating music under the name The Beatles, the most influential rock and roll group of our century, of the previous century, actually. So that's how they started romancing us, mesmerizing us, harmonizing so perfectly that we were lured into the simplicity of their music. And it was brilliant, and I love the Beatles. I actually love the Beatles' music. I play it all the time. But I recognize I've been slightly brainwashed, because what they did was they actually got us to believe in them, and then they took us for a ride to LSD land. And in a matter of 5 years, the Beatles went from clean-cut guys looking fun and groovy to burnt-out hippies on acid. And consequently, the world followed. And that's what turned a lot of your uncles and grandparents into acid heads. And the same is true with the Grateful Dead. They developed for the same reason. They developed the Deadhead concerts. A lot of people burned out real quick. The intelligent people ended up becoming mental vegetables. So they get rid of the intelligent people that way by turning them into meth heads, and acid heads, who are probably walking around mumbling to themselves right now. That's how they did it. They kept us down. That's how they prevented a formation of a political movement in the 1960s. Yeah. So if you want to look into the depth of how they've managed to manipulate the social consciousness of our society, you have only to look at the Tavistock, which to this day is developing transgenderism and promoting it in film and in music. I'm not making this up. The reason why they're pushing transgenderism is so people stop replicating. They don't want people. They want all of you to stop replicating. No. Even if they were. No. Well, I agree. John Lennon and Paul McCartney were a couple of, I'm the original Paul, not the guy that's playing his role right now. They were a couple of gang thugs in Liverpool. I understand that John used to beat people up, including women. But he became a reformed man when he met Yoko Ono. And he turned into a completely different person. Seriously, he used to slap women around. So John Lennon isn't the peacenik that you think he was when he was in his early days. So in a way, I agree with you. There were a couple. They wouldn't have handled 3 years in Hamburg playing nightly if they hadn't been seasoned experts and tough guys. The original Paul McCartney was wild. He was the lead guy in that group that would carried the tunes. Yeah, in fact, when you look at the Beatles, the early days, you see Paul McCartney's energy level was huge. Not like the current guy who's mellow, but I will admit that the current Paul McCartney is very talented. No question about it. That's pretty funny. Okay, I'll play this meme because we're not broadcasting on an overly sensitive site like Twitch. Check this out. This is from Sister Fight. Straight dudes, all the way through into the LGBT community, saying, "Stop forcing your views on me." Very funny. And it's true. I don't support LGBTQ. I'm as a centrist. But I do support non-discrimination. And I would never have fired the transgenders. I'm just not encouraging people to be transgender. Yeah, that's what the Democrats have done. And I think they've fallen off the ledge. I think the American people are ready to start the centrist movement. And we're gung-ho to do it. That's why you guys come in and watch me every night. No, the Richard Gere hamster story is a complete BS story. Complete BS. Richard Gere and the hamster that allegedly was involved with him sexually was a complete lie. It was an urban myth. There's no truth to it. Amber's looking at me going, "When are you going to be on the bed so I can lay with you?" She's got her CBD oil working. You can see that. She's mellow. Yeah, I'm not here to judge you people who are gay. I really don't have any, anger or hatred toward anybody. I'm just not here to encourage you to encourage others in this deviant behavior. It's statistically deviant, and for us to be normalizing that behavior would be a bad message to send everyone. You can't possibly expect a child to grow up being a transgender thinking that no one will ever say anything bad about me because that's illegal. They're going to be ridiculed, criticized. They have to get thick skin to be that type of a person. Yeah. No, deviant is it's a term used in statistics. Have you ever heard of the word standard deviation? Look it up. And tell all your FBI friends that, slow-mos. Yeah, liberals expect everyone to be politically correct and accept them for who they are, and for all of us to forget we have freedom of speech. They actually wanted me to never, ever, ever make fun of Barack Obama. And when I did a blackface video, oh my gosh, that's just horrible. When I have every right to do a blackface impersonation video of a guy who is a New World Order puppet working for corporate America. What country did they think this was? The Democrats should go to a country that they can control, not try to control our country. because we're Americans and we're centrists, and we're not about to sit there and kowtow to a bunch of leftists telling us we have to tax us. They tax us and they raise their salaries at the same time. Absolutely. Black people do whiteface all the time. I love it. Yeah. I would welcome that. Yeah. It loosens up the relations between black and white for us to talk about this too. You know, I used to be in favor of what we called in the 60s rap sessions. It's not like today where rappers are rapping, you know, like their message. Rap sessions back in the 60s were people talking to each other. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. Interracial rap sessions, yeah. There's a lot of social pressure. The deviant numbers in a normative analysis are analyzed by statisticians. You need to go back to school. Okay, slow mode. Thank you. Jeez, why do I look like this? No, there's no money coming in through any source, and I've made nothing on this, not even a penny. Thank you. Well, that's what I'm implying, that as a statistical deviant in the normative analysis, you are simply a small number. There's only 5% gays and transgenders in America. Why would we be telling children that we should just go ahead and make sure everyone has a right to be whatever they want? Kids need to know that they're going to be a deviant relative to the norm. I mean, that's only being honest. You don't want kids growing up with the belief that they're going to be okay and no one's going to make fun of them. It's going to be a nightmare if they go down that road. It will. It's not going to be easy. It'll be tough. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. Yeah, really, it's the tail wagging the dog. The norm is in force in my life, and I live according to normative values, and frankly, I'm doing great. And centrists alike need to unite, because these Democrats are pulling us into communism, into the New World Order, and control of our environment, cyber control of our lives. They would rather we be RFID chipped and forced inoculated, these Democrats. They are doing the work of the New World Order, and that's why we are up against them and stopping them. We cannot allow our country to fall into the grip of monetary elitists around the world. If they think they're going to get a hold of our country and destroy it, we have nothing to live for. We have to fight for our rights. Because once you lose your rights, you lose everything. You lose your freedom. Bless you. You lose your freedom. So you have to understand what we are fighting for. We are fighting for our right to be who we are, individuals. We cannot succumb to their programming and their mediocre thinking, where they force us to be the way they want us to be. We have the right to be different, all of us do. But they want everyone who's extremely different to automatically be endorsed as the norm. Scissorfight says that LGBTQ is a mental disorder. You know, I'll tell you, when a person wants to commit self-injurious acts like cutting their body part off, that is mentally ill by definition. And there is not one psychologist or psychiatrist that has openly said that it's perfectly normal to want to have your penis removed or to have a penis installed. Seriously. You know, we're not as concerned. I am careful in every way, but when we enter the mobile travel center, it's completely lined. It's like a Faraday cage. So when we're I check this out, when we're in the mobile travel center, they cannot pick up the RFID chip from any location. So. One of them in the debate said the Taliban was behind 9/11, and we paid them to fight the Russians, and they invaded Afghanistan, then abandoned them. Wow. We paid the Taliban to fight the Russians. Well, you know what happened, and I brought this up today. I was talking about it with Sarah. The Afghanistan war is about making money on heroin. It was never about getting back at the people that attacked us, because no one from Afghanistan was named in the 9/11 Commission report. If we had attacked any country, it would have been Saudi Arabia, because there were 17 or 18 people named in the 9/11 Commission report. And incidentally, I mean, that 9/11 thing is a complete cover-up. We haven't gotten to the truth there. And the Democrats won't even acknowledge that 9/11 was a cover-up. They still take the same BS story and buy the same crap that somehow we're fighting terrorism over there. Same thing the Republicans are doing. And we all know, many of us in the alternate political realm know, that 9/11 has all the earmarks of a planned event with people in the inside that knew of what was happening. Now, many of you can decide for yourselves what that's about. I made my decision. I believe it was a cover-up and an inside job. If you believe that a plane can go through a building without the nose cone collapsing, then there's something wrong with you. Because the video we saw, which many people are saying now was altered, showed a plane going through a building with the nose cone intact. And the nose cone, you could practically take a hammer on a plane and put it right through the nose cone, fracture it. It's made out of fiberglass. It's very soft. It's designed to merely prevent air from getting, rounding around the plane. There's no way that nose could have gotten through that plane, through that building. That alone, to me, convinced me that there was CGI involved. And if they're willing to CGI something and cover up detonations and demolitions, killing 2,996 people, they're capable of doing anything. That's genocide. So if we're dealing with these types of genocidal maniacs in our government who think they can get away with this, hell yeah, I want to build this third party. We want to get a second opinion. We want to do a deeper investigation of what has happened. And we have to. We have no other choice. Truth beckons us. Yeah, fiberglass versus steel. Steel wins. Exactly. It's a no-brainer. I mean, even if you want to argue that whether this was CGI'd or not, it was simply a nose cone going through a building and remaining perfectly fine. And that's impossible. That is impossible. You can't put that kind of a nose cone through a building and expect it to come out looking round and spherical. Impossible. In the video, you can see the nose coming out of the other side. Exactly. And that's my point. In slow motion, you can see the nose of the plane coming out. Gulf of Tonkin, another story that was developed by Robert McNamara, said that the Gulf of Tonkin was a made-up incident. Our own Secretary of Defense has assigned that statement before he passed away. Robert McNamara was very clear that they needed to create a reason for North Vietnam to be our enemy. And that was part of the Golden Triangle. That was part of a transfer of heroin through the Golden Triangle in Hong Kong at the time. Again, all of this comes down to people making lots of money skimming off the backs of people fighting wars. Now, like I said earlier, we've got a draft dodger as a president trying to start a war with a country that doesn't even want war, in a series of wars that we've started to control a region which protects Israel. Now, I don't know any time in American history where everyone sat around and said, oh yeah, we need to defend Israel at all costs and lead in all directions to defend Israel and kill off everybody we can to defend Israel. I don't in any way find Israel to be an important dominating influence in American foreign policy. They are our ally. They have a strong defense. I don't dispute that, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. But we can't just cater to Israel and expect to open up peace talks with the Muslim community. There's no way we're ever going to be able to do that. And if you ever want peace in the Middle East, we cannot possibly side with one or the other side. We have to be neutral. So we have a task, as our country is developing, to keep our focus on objectivity, not cave into a Zionist agenda of a new world order and be their go boy, their defender. the 911 to the world. And that's what we've become. And the world is watching. And we cannot be that person. We have to be a better country, treating all people equally. And once we do that, I think things will start to fly right for not only us, but other nations. It's this constant need for the New World Order to push its agenda on every country that's starting these wars, that's initiating these conflicts, just like Donald Trump is making up a story about bombs attacking 2 oil tankers. The owner of those 2 oil tankers, a Japanese man, has openly said that he believes they're bullets, not bombs, bullets fired into his tankers, and he's seen all the evidence. So what does Donald Trump do? He starts attacking Japan and their relationship with the oil in Iran because he doesn't agree with them. So he's attacking the Japanese oil tanker owner, and he's attacking the Japanese government. He wants to end a treaty with the United States because it doesn't fit his agenda of attacking Iran, which clearly is a New World Order agenda, and Trump is just being a puppet. The nuclear capability of Iran was already established under Barack Obama. That was something that Republicans didn't contest. They continued to allow Iran to develop a nuclear weapon, and now they're saying something after the fact, closing the barn door after the horses have already left. We need to adjust to the world with Iran having a nuclear weapon. We cannot force them to get rid of it because they will open up not only conventional weapons, but things you haven't even seen that they've been developing. And if we think it's a cakewalk to attack a country like Iran, it's absurd. And it shows you that this draft dodger doesn't deserve to be our president. And he won illegally with Russia's help, so let's not kid ourselves. We're dealing with a half-wit as our president, and Pence is even worse. So if you really want to get this country rolling in the right direction, get behind this third party. Otherwise, we're going down a very dark alley toward World War III. And I'm warning everybody, we would never have a war with Iran if we weren't provoked. And they haven't provoked us. Okay? There are people, rational people, not like our president, but there are rational people in the Pentagon that know what I'm saying is true. A ground invasion? Sure, you might manage to neutralize half of their forces. But what are you going to see coming out of the ground in multiple missile locations? They have 9 missile factories hidden. They have an underground capability to defend against nuclear attack. They have a civil defense system that can guard over 100,000 people underground. What do we have? So let's ask ourselves, do we really want to provoke like a badger in a cave, constantly provoke these people? Or do we want to look at relaxing economic sanctions, not signing the treaty, mind you? We're not going to get anything accomplished by signing a treaty, which is absurd. We have to move toward at least keeping economic sanctions from disabling both our relations with Iran and with China. And the economic sanctions against Iran, it's jeopardizing a relationship with China and Japan. And this is all Trump's doing. It's all on him. I said not to initiate economic sanctions against Iran, except for selected economic sanctions like counterfeit currency, paper, and ink that have been used to create and fund terrorist activities. These are simple ways of dealing with Iran. What Trump has created is he's doubled down and tripled down on his anger toward Iran. Now it's spreading to Japan and China. That's a problem. So because this half-wit can't seem to understand that, we've got a real problem. And the Democrats are too weak to impeach. We've got a real problem. So you think about it, America. And think that if you think supporting Trump in the future is going to help this country, just ask yourself, where are we going? Are you getting more money? Is your economy getting better? Are things going down in price? Are you getting work directly from Trump? The answer is no. You're seeing homeless people amass at the streets all across this nation in large numbers. And that would be you when you can't meet your mortgage for a couple months in a row. Hey, I'm going to sign off, everybody. Thanks for coming in. It's been a great, intimate chat with David and Sarah. Good night.
listening to virtual interactive chat like you've never heard before. We are discussing issues from both sides of the political spectrum every night. Join us as we take on the two-party system